All right. Testing, testing, testing. How's it sound? How's it sound? What's going on here? Okay. Testing, testing. How's it sound? Wow. Something is not. Well. Okay. There we go. I think that's correct. Okay. There we go. I think this sounds pretty damn good. Yeah. All right. We've got the Nomad capitalist. A huge fucking fraud. Folks, I don't know what to tell you. You know, most of the problem is with you people. You stupid fucking people. That's right, you're stupid. Look in the mirror and admit it. You're the people who are fueling the con men, and they're so obviously con men. How can you not fucking see it? What's wrong with your fucking brain? There's something wrong with you people, and I'll tell you what's wrong. It's not because you're all born stupid. That's not possible. I said it before, and I'll keep saying it. It's the internet. The internet has made people stupid. The longer you spend on the internet, the more time you're on the internet, the dumber you're going to get. That's a fact. And this is why you're falling for all these fucking frauds. Write it the fuck down. No one of any credibility, no one legitimate is going to go on YouTube and pitch their business. That's a fact. Write it the fuck down. Legitimate people aren't on YouTube pitching their business. It's the scammers because they know the lowest hanging fruit, the dumbest idiots are on YouTube. And that's why the scammers are pitching their business on YouTube. Because they know that the dumbasses, the broke ass, underachieving losers who are looking for an escape, an easy way out, they think they can get something for free or they're going to be handed something. Okay? Now, and this is the hard reality. It's the truth. It's the truth. So let me just say something about this before I begin. There's a whole new genre that's developed over the past few years. And it's important, folks, to understand. This is why I'm saying the more you learn about these frauds and, the names, the clicks, the groups, the methods, the more you accumulate, you're going to more quickly realize they're frauds. In other words, if you look at, once again, if you want to see what a person's all about, take a look at who they hang out with. Some of these guys don't rub shoulders so often with a lot of people. Some of the guys, most of the guys do. Okay? So if you know that there's a certain guys are con artists or frauds, then obviously whoever they're hanging out with is going to be a con artist and a fraud. That's an easy way to spot these guys. Okay? Another way is if someone's wearing a suit and they don't need to, I'll guarantee you they're a fucking con artist. People don't wear fucking suits unless they have to. If someone is wearing a suit all dressed up in front of you, they're trying, it's kind of like the Lambo lifestyle. You understand? They're trying to finagle you. They're trying to give you this fake perception that they're professional and important when they're not. If someone is wearing a fucking suit when they don't need to, making a YouTube video, you guarantee damn well fucking T they're a fraud. Okay? Got it? Now you can write that down and you can start observing. Okay? That's an easy little thing. But let me get back to this genre, this new genre that I've noticed, and it's from the digital nomad. That's why I said you got to understand all the digital nomad fucking swindlers out there. Okay? This new genre of relocation consultants. Relocation consultants. So you'll see some of these guys on ScamTube. And what you'll have invariably is these people on YouTube, all of them, living in all these countries, and they're spending all their time on YouTube making videos. Okay? They're flat fucking broke. They're either flat fucking broke or they need the money. And they're going to tell you, oh, no, I don't. I'm retired. I've got a nice pension. Or, oh, no, I'm making a lot of money. That's a fucking lie. People who are living in other countries, who have moved to other countries because they want to enjoy their lives, whether it's retiring or whatever. They're not spending their fucking lives on YouTube. They're doing it for the fucking money. Mostly what you see are these people in the Philippines, and they're all fucking broke losers. Every single fucking one of them. You can tell them I said so. They're all liars. Many of them are fucking convicts. They have criminal records. And I'm not just talking about the Philippines expats. I'm talking about a lot of these guys. Okay? I know several in particular I could name off. Philippines, Thailand, Cambodia, other places, right? But the bigger vloggers, the travel vloggers you're talking about, the Philippines, Thailand, and I'm telling you right now, every single one of them is a broke dick motherfucker. I've been following these motherfuckers for 15 fucking years. I know the whole goddamn genre. Okay? I know the story on just about all of them. Okay? And I'm telling you, that's the truth. Now, why anybody would listen to any broke dick motherfucker for advice on anything, I don't know. You're not talking about educated people. These people that are living in these countries, they're not educated, generally speaking. Okay? And I'll give you some examples. I mean, I've sat here, and in the future I'll show in particular. But you've got people that think they know everything, even though they haven't even lived in a country full time. And they want to tell me that, for instance, Thailand's medical system is better than America's. I'll show you guys in particular. Okay? There's people that actually claim that. And they tell, oh, no, you're wrong. And I have to tell them my credentials. I'm a fucking expert in healthcare. I'm an investment analyst. I've lived in these countries. I've dealt with these hospitals. And you see, they don't even understand what's involved in healthcare. They don't understand that healthcare, first of all, and I have to explain to them, Thailand doesn't do any fucking research. They have essentially no fucking research. The educational system is fucking shit. They haven't developed anything. They're a fucking, basically a third world country that's been lifted up by foreign money and foreign jobs. Okay? They've done nothing. Everything in that country has come from foreign money and foreign importation of technology. So how are they going to have a great medical system when they don't even innovate anything, right? When you're talking about medical care, we're not talking about going and get a fucking blood test. Okay, you're talking about things that are relevant for people that are especially retired. That's why I say, these idiots, oh yeah, I'm going to retire in this country. Okay, well, hey buddy, the first thing you got to come up with is tell me about the visa system. Do they have a retirement visa? And then ask yourself, do you want to be in a country where you're older and the medical system isn't going to be equipped for you? What do you think happens with older people, by the way? They got to worry about heart attacks, strokes, cancer. Now, those are advanced medical, that's advanced medical care, right? Do you think that Thailand is going to come remotely close to America? I mean, you're talking about America that innovates the cutting edge, latest procedures. You all know that, right? I mean, where do you think the standards come from for just about everything in the world? The standards come from America. You all know that? So it's a whole other topic for discussion. I don't want to get too much into that. But anyway, my point is this. It's a whole new genre out there, I've noticed, and it's all of these digital nomads, these digital fucking douchebags who can't find a way to make money. So they become relocation consultants. So they do videos on their channel about Costa Rica and this and schedule a call with me and if you want to relocate here and I'll show you how. It's only $150 per 30 minutes. And I'm thinking to myself, folks, if you have to pay somebody to help you relocate to another country, take my word for it. Don't even try relocating. If you need assistance of somebody to tell you where to go and what to do, and you can't take the initiative on your own, trust me, you're not equipped to make it in another country. You're going to fail. You're going to fuck up bad. Okay? So you got these swindlers out there want to tell you that, I'm a relocation consultant. Folks, relocation consultant, like a real one, a professional one, you don't hear about. You know why? Because they're companies that work with corporations. They work with multinational corporations that actually do stuff for executives who go to other countries. Okay? They know the entire landscape. They get them apartments they need in the areas they need for their kids to have good education with the international schools, so on and so forth. That's what those guys do. These guys you hear about on YouTube are not relocation consultants. They're fucking scammers, okay? And I'm talking about this because it has to do with Nomad capitalist. This is essentially what he's doing, okay? Except, he's spiffied it up a little bit. And his whole premise, by the way, second passports, it's a lie. It's a scam. He doesn't get you a second passport. He gets you a visa. He's a complete fraud. Folks, second passports, if you want a passport, you can overpay for some fucking property. You can pay $400,000, $500,000, wherever it is this year. They change it. In the middle of fucking nowhere, one of these Caribbean islands, okay, where there's nothing there to invest in a house. You can get a passport there. Okay, who wants a passport there? Now, you can get long-term residency in some of these countries, but it's not a second passport. The guy's a fraud and a liar. You cannot get a second passport in these countries he talks about. All this information is online and for free, okay? Why would you go to some guy Andrew Henderson, who flunked out of college. He doesn't have any degree, much less a degree in law, which is who I would go to if I was an incapable, fucking, insecure, stupid idiot. I would have to go to some person. I mean, folks, if you can't take the initiative to explore and investigate things on your own, you don't need to be moving out of your country. You're not going to make it. You're not going to survive. I'm telling you this because I know I did this on my own. I had no help. I didn't ask for any help. I learned things on my own. And I'm telling you, I know the fucking deal. And the deal is, if you want to go to a country, you don't call up some scammer who's going to charge you. Ultimately, he's going to suck you in, anywhere from $30,000 to $100,000 for something that you can get for anywhere from $400 to $1,000 going direct. But you see, these people, you stupid idiots out there, you're fooled by these YouTube videos. I like his content. Everything he knows, he tells you in those videos. That's fact. Everything he knows, which is not anything more than what's online. I know more than this guy does. I can guarantee you that. A lot more. I don't even focus on it. Why? How can I say that? Well, because he's an uneducated former pool cleaner, a college flunky, fucking idiot, loser, scam artist. I'm a Wall Street insider, arguably the best investment analyst in the world. I challenge someone to show me a better one. That doesn't matter. Ivy League graduate, biological chemistry, biophysics, National Science Foundation Research Fellowship Award winner. Okay, many other things. So I'm not a dumb guy. I'm a pretty fucking sharp guy. Okay, and I'm telling you right now, anybody out there that goes to this guy, you've got major mental problems on so many levels. Okay? If you want to go to another country, first of all, once again, there are no second passports. That's a scam and a lie. A second passport's not a visa or a residency. Okay? Residency is a visa. You all understand that. If you have a passport, that means you're a citizen and you can vote and you can own property. Many other things. A visa is a temporary admission to live in the country, to stay in the country. Residency, same thing. Okay? Other than these handful of exceptions where there's nothing to do, you know, these Caribbean islands and shit, you don't want to get a second passport. You don't even need anybody for that. You contact those islands, okay? St. Kitts and all that shit. There's like 3 or 4 of them. Nobody wants that. The only people that get a second passport there are people who want to avoid massive taxes because they don't live there. There's nothing to do there. It's shit. What he's talking about is getting visas. Visas and long-term residency. That's not a second passport. You understand that, right? Okay? This guy's a fraud and a liar. It's that simple. He's an absolute fraud. He lies about everything. It's all about perception and image. Folks, all these scam artists, that's what it is. Perception and image. Don't you understand? It's the Ty Lopez gig. Here in my garage, my Lamborghini, right? They all just have a different spin. He's always dressed up. He wants to come across as some pompous guy. Oh, hello, ho, Mr. Howell, right? I mean, I'm the Ivy League graduate, bitch boy. I'm the fucking Ivy League guy. Do I sound like it? Am I pretentious? You understand? Folks, you got to stop being fucking stupid. Stop falling for the guy that's nice to you and tells you what you want to hear. And start using your fucking head and thinking. Okay? Think about it. This is a guy who's constantly giving you overtones of how he wants to tell you how he's superior and he's wealthy and he's got this and that. Don't you all see that? It's a complete farce. I'm like the most down-to-earth person that there is, right? I mean, I don't sit here and act like some fucking pseudo-intellectual. This is a guy who flunked out of college. And he comes across as like a Mr. Howell Jr., Mr. Howell from Gilligan's Island, right? I mean, how come you people can't fucking see that? And this goes to all these idiots that watch this guy's fucking channel. He's a complete fucking fraud. Now, let me show you some images here. Of course, he's pushing Bitcoin. Folks, all the scam artists, they're always, I've said this before so many times. And by the way, I'm taking my time to do this. I've got a research webinar in less than 24 hours. Okay? FYI. Paid subscribers. But all the con artists are always jumping in to the latest, greatest thing. Okay? Whatever's big, they're going to jump all over it. And so, of course, he jumped into cryptocurrency. But, of course, he's also a cryptocurrency guy because why? Because he's an unconvicted criminal. In other words, he's done a lot of bad things. And potentially he could stand trial. And I believe that's why he jumps around from this country to this country, moving around. He's gotten into some trouble in some of these countries. Why do you think he renounced his U.S. citizenship? I told you before. He wants to avoid lawsuits. Got it? Let me explain to you how it works. Since there's a lot of stupid people out there on ScamTube. In fact, I'll give you all guys a little law lesson as well, a little legal lesson here in a second. Okay. When you're a person like me, you pick up a lot of things in your career because you deal with a lot of high-level people and high-level things. Okay. So I know quite a bit about a lot of things, as many people in my shoes do. But I'll go ahead and I'll jump to the legal lesson right now, actually. The legal, and this is kind of off the topic, but it just kind of, I thought about it. Let me tell you guys how it works in the legal system. When it comes to going after somebody, because there are a lot of people that are too fucking stupid on YouTube. They don't understand this. There's something called, well, basically, if you're a public figure, the hurdle is much higher for you to sue somebody for defamation. Okay, you understand? Defamation is something that's untrue, and if it's malicious, right? It's a malicious intent, then that's even much worse. Okay, but this is why you can always attack a public figure. Someone who's a public figure, it's very difficult for them to sue someone for defamation because the hurdle is very high. If you don't have a kind of a public exposure, the hurdle is very low. Someone like me, I don't have any public exposure. I mean, I'm banned everywhere. So it's easy for me to sue people for defamation. Very easy. You see? The bigger the exposure the person has, the more difficult it is for them to sue. By the way, this is something that, you got these fucking fake lawyers on YouTube. Shouldn't they be talking about this stuff? I challenge anybody to show me that I'm wrong. I'm exactly right. In fact, it's all about the hurdle, right? Which doesn't have anything to do with Henderson. I mean, we're not talking about defamation here. We're talking about what I believe to be, based upon what I have done researching this guy, I believe it to be fact. okay, that he's a scammer. And understand, I've known about this guy for a good more than a decade. Okay, I've been keeping my eyes out for a lot of people. I knew he was a scammer from day one when around 2012, 13, 14, he was lining, rubbing shoulders with Peter Schiff. And I'm thinking like, you understand. I mean, you all know Peter Schiff. Peter Schiff is obviously a con man. There's no doubt about it. In my mind anyway. The same fucking thing every fucking month, every year, trying to scare people, to con people. It's a con game, a confidence game. You all understand what a con game is? It's a confidence game. You are instilling a certain confidence in someone, right? In other words, the stock market's going to collapse, right? You're trying to scare someone. The dollar, fiat currency is going to collapse. It's not worth anything, right? You all understand. Those people are con artists. You all understand. Because they have a narrative, they're trying to con people into their, and this is why you have these cults. And by the way, the Andrew Henderson, Nomad capitalist, he intersects with these gold pumpers and these doomsday guys. Because think about it, the gold pumping doomsday guys, who I think actually, to some degree, depending upon who they are, should be characterized as domestic terrorists. That's right, domestic terrorists. Because they are actually trying to harm the U.S. economy, which is a national security issue. I'm not going to get into that, but there's no doubt about it. I can make a great case that some of these people should be labeled as domestic terrorists, okay, who are making up bullshit, trying to get people to basically, destroy the dollar with their lies and bullshit. I mean, imagine if these were people in China. If the Chinese government, was employing these people, don't you think they'd be considered terrorists? I think so. But anyway, that's another topic of discussion. The point is that understand that these gold pumpers, right, and even the cryptocurrency guys as well, because they got a lot of their talking points from the gold pumpers. What are they always talking about? They're always talking about what? They're always talking about America. America's going to collapse. U.S. stock market's going to collapse. U.S. economy is going to collapse. U.S. dollar's going to collapse, right? They're always talking about these doomsday scenarios for America. But everywhere else in the world is great, especially developing shitholes. Have you noticed that? They push all these fucking shitholes. You understand? They actually are representing the opposite of reality. You see? So think about it for a second. You got the gold pumping charlatans out there. The kingpin, the guy who really kind of launched the modern day fear-mongering movement, Peter Schiff. He was claiming hyperinflation. I've got the you want to hear it? Let's see, I pull it up right here. Let's play it here. I wasn't planning on this, but I know where the file is. Okay, here we go. In fact, well, I could show you the video, but I'll just play it, see if you can hear it. Can you hear it?
They are going to be broke. They're going to be completely broke, and that is obvious. It's obvious to me that that's what's going to happen. And this is pure inflation, Latin American style. This is hyperinflation. This is Zimbabwe. This is the identical monetary policy. This is what the Weimar Republic did, and we're going to have the same result.
Now, this is what Peter Schiff was spewing back in 2008, 2009. He kept spewing the same thing for several years, hyperinflation, comparing America to, and notice he said This is hyperinflation Latin America style. Okay? Hyperinflation Latin America style. Let's see if we try this again here. And you know what he means? What he means is that, and I've said this before many times, kind of in jest, and that is kind of a sarcasm, but I kind of say like, it's, you know, somewhere in Latin America, there's just almost always there's hyperinflation somewhere in Latin America. Kind of, you know, exaggerating, kind of intentional hyperbole. But there's a little bit truth to that, right? Latin America has a long history of hyperinflation. And you see it now in Venezuela for many years, Argentina. Of course, Brazil had their hyperinflation in the 90s, early 90s, which, you know, that's why they launched the real, to get out of hyperinflation. So it's known that Latin America has a long history of hyperinflation, right? Let me go ahead and try this again. So this is what Peter Schiff was scaring everybody about back in 2009, 2010, so on and so forth.
The whole idea is to get out of the U.S. dollar, to get out of a currency that is on the verge of collapse. Because the people who don't get out, that think they're playing it safe, that don't want to take any risk, so they keep their money in the dollar, they are going to be broke. They're going to be completely broke, and that is obvious. It's obvious to me that that's what's going to happen. And this is pure inflation, Latin American style. This is hyperinflation. This is Zimbabwe. This is the identical monetary policy. This is what the Weimar Republic did, and we're going to have the same result. And I am 100% convinced that anybody who has their wealth in U.S. dollars will be just as broke as the people who have their money with Madoff. It's not going to matter. It is going to be destroyed. And I don't know how much time you have. You know, with the dollar dropping 5% a week at this point, I don't know. Could the dollar snap back a little bit? Sure, of course. But what if it keeps falling? What if it's down 5% next week and 5% the week after that? And then what if it drops 10% and another 10%? Who knows? You know, at some point, a year or two from now, the dollar could be dropping 5% a day. You know, the inflation rate in Zimbabwe is over 100 million percent per year. I can't even calculate what that is. But you know what? It didn't start off that bad. The dollar is now sinking on its own weight, and it's going to drop like a stone. And, you know,
so, yeah, for some reason, the volume, I don't know what's going on. But anyway, I'll play it another time. You all kind of heard it. But so my point is that, folks, I talked about this more than 15 years ago. And nobody else has, this is why none of these guys, nobody in the world that's a dishonest charlatan will debate me. These guys pushing gold and crypto and all this bullshit will never debate me on a neutral platform because they know I'm sharp as fuck. They know I represent the truth. They don't want to debate legitimate people. When they have debates, they're kind of set up, kind of softball bullshit. They won't have a debate with me because I'll slam them down with the truth. Hyperinflation is impossible in America. I've been saying this for a long time. Okay? It's impossible. You can't have it in America because America is tied in to the global system. How do you think you buy commodities? You got to buy them with the dollar. You understand? So it's not only is it economically impossible, but it's impossible on many levels. I mean, do you think that the world's most powerful military, most powerful country will allow hyperinflation? I mean, come on. It's just fucking stupidity. Meanwhile, these guys like Andrew Henderson supports all this gold pumping bullshit because he's a fucking idiot and a con man. And this is what I'm talking about, folks, in terms of being educated to understand the reality behind all this horseshit you're hearing. Because all this horseshit, they don't tell you about all these countries that are fucked up. Okay? Venezuela, what do you think? You know Venezuela's hyperinflation, do you know how bad it is? You all know? It's really fucked up. I haven't looked at it in a while. But it's really bad. Do you know what these countries do when they're under hyperinflation? Guess what they do? They buy and sell U.S. dollars on the black fucking market. You know why? Because it's stable. They can trust it. Did you all know this? This is fact. Okay? They don't talk about these countries undergoing hyperinflation. Just like Doug Casey, who Andrew Henderson partnered with and has promoted over and over again, because Doug Casey is another one of these guys. And Doug Casey, this is where Andrew Henderson and Jeff Berwick. Jeff Berwick was the first second passport scammer. They got their idea from Doug Casey. Doug Casey was promoting Latin America. Oh, Escape America. He was telling people back in 2010 to get out of America, to escape the collapse and go to Argentina. I kid you not. You all know this, right? I exposed all this shit a long time ago. Okay? And what happened to Argentina? They collapsed. The economy collapsed. Peso fucking collapsed. Hyperinflation. And you all heard about Argentina's economic problem, right? They've been in this problem for almost 15 years, like 14 years. Okay? So he's telling you to move to people that listen to Doug Casey, they lost everything. Right? Can you believe this? Folks, you've got something wrong with your fucking head if you actually think that some Latin American country is going to be your saving grace from America. America is the fucking superpower, the single superpower. America can flatten the rest of the world in one fucking instant if they want to. That's fact. Okay? If you don't fucking know that, you're a stupid idiot. You believe horse shit. America can wipe the fuck out of the entire globe instantly if it wants to. And nobody can fucking challenge America. They can flatten Russia just like that. Flatten China even quicker. Okay? You got it? That's fact. If you don't know that, then you're listening to a bunch of fucking idiots that don't know shit. Know who I am. Understand who I am. First of all, I don't have an agenda. I don't pitch a narrative. I don't sell securities. I don't sell gold. I don't sell cryptocurrency. I don't even sell advertisements. You know why I don't sell advertisements? Because I'm an honest guy. I'm not a swindler. If you're selling ads, you're a swindler. Write it the fuck down. All these people on YouTube monetizing are fucking swindlers. That's fact. You tell them I said so. They can disagree. I don't care. So, you got this Nomad scam artist who, you all understand what I'm getting at. His whole premise is get out of America, get out of the UK, get out of Europe. Sure, listen, there's problems. I don't live in America full time. I don't like America, but guess what? You think that these other countries are going to be better? Well, maybe if you already have a good amount of money. The problem is that most people that leave America, that leave Europe, that leave the UK, that leave Canada, that leave Australia for a developing country, most of those people don't have a lot of money. They've been told that you don't need a lot of money. And that's a complete fucking lie. Okay? The last thing you want to do is to move to any of these non-Western countries if you don't have a lot of money. You know why? There's no fucking social safety net. There's no welfare system. If you're in the Philippines and you're in the hospital, you have to go to the hospital for something, an emergency, let's say. Do you understand what they do if you don't pay the bill? You can't leave that hospital until you pay the bill. I'm not joking. It's a prison. They will not fucking let you leave that hospital until you pay the bill. If you don't believe me, you can look it the fuck up. And they're not the only country that does that, by the way. You're talking about things that you can't even imagine that occur in these countries. Crazy fucking shit. You're talking about countries that don't have or have variable amounts of rule of law. Do you understand that? They don't have accountability. They don't have the types of legal framework that we have in our countries. Folks, you're living, if you're from the West, you're living in the highest level, the highest form, the most civilized countries in the world where they have rule of law. You understand? You don't hear this from Andrew Henderson. Of course, you got here Patrick Bet. I mean, ask yourself, why would Patrick Bet David interview this guy? Why? It's obvious to me Andrew Henderson paid him. You see? Because he knows anybody that follows Patrick Bet David is a fucking dummy. I've told you guys before how it works. These guys, they want to interview similar guys, charlatans, because they can get their subscribers. They can convert them into paying customers because they know, for instance, anybody that believes Robert Kiyosaki, if you're a charlatan, if you're a scammer, well, you want to tap into that subscriber base because you know it's a sucker list. You all know what a sucker list is, right? A sucker list is like, for scammers, they know it's like, oh, okay, there's a sucker. That sucker list is very valuable because they're proven suckers. You understand? I mean, you guys got to understand how this shit works. I'm telling you. All these guys on ScamTube are frauds. All of them. All of them. Okay? And I've already explained how it works from the top down. Joe Rogan, right? Connect the dots. Okay. So, let's take a look here. And now, you can just see. Now, let me just emphasize before I continue with Henderson. These reviews that I'm showing you did not cause me to they didn't factor into judging him in any way or all. I've known this guy as a fraudster from day one. And I say that because you can't trust online reviews. And Henderson is paid for a lot of reviews, and I'm going to show you that here in a second. Okay? This is on a different review site. The one that he's paid for, I've mentioned this before. Trustpilot is a scam review site. Write that down. Trustpilot is where all the scam artists are going. Have you noticed the Trustpilot, all the scammers are saying, oh, we're on Trustpilot, we're on Trustpilot. Trustpilot is a fraudulent review website where people can pay to get they can get bad reviews removed. Okay? They pay to get bad reviews removed. And there's many ways that they do that. One of the ways that they do that is, for instance, the guy's name? Warrior Trading. Ross Cameron, I think his name is, okay? If go on Trustpilot, on Warrior Trading, you can try this out for yourself. Go on Trustpilot, and I know this because I've looked at you can tell after the review, they'll have someone respond and say, oh, we don't see your name in our list, right? Go and submit a bad review for Warrior Trading. Actually, not even a bad review. Go and just say the FTC has sued them. They'll have it removed. Okay? What will happen is in the case with Warrior Trading is they'll say, well, you got to give us your contact. Trustpilot will say, they're requesting your email and your phone number, so they can look you up in the records to make sure that you were a customer. And then what they'll do then is if you give it to them and you were a customer, they'll threaten you with a lawsuit. So what happens is that Trustpilot, if they're paid money by the person, the company, they will insist that the reviewer provide them with personal information that can be verified that they were a customer. And the company takes that information and they threaten you with a lawsuit. So most people don't want to give up the information, right? They want to remain anonymous, right? So what will happen is that Trustpilot, if the company's paid them money, they'll remove the review, a negative review. I know all this shit. I'm telling you, Trustpilot is a fucking fraud scam. Take a look. All the scammers, they're going to see them. They're going to have high ratings on Trustpilot. Folks, I've told you before, don't ever believe any fucking review that you don't know who wrote it. Okay? Best case scenario, it could be a mentally ill fucking idiot. But mostly, it's paid reviews. Andrew Henderson is paid for reviews. The scammers pay for reviews. Tim Sykes, all these guys, folks. You see, stupid people want to go for the validity by consensus, right? That's what they use. They judge validity by consensus, so they want to read reviews, okay? Folks, the fake review industry is a multi-billion-dollar fucking industry. Go right now and type into your computer how to buy fake reviews, okay? And you'll see. So, I'm just saying, this is not a rating that I used to. It just validates. I'm sorry. It confirms everything I know about Henderson. You see, and this is an interesting comment here, because it's the same thing that I said about books that have a lot of exposure. Books that have a lot of exposure always look the 1 and 2 star reviews. That's going to be the fucking truth. Because the books that have a lot of exposure, typically there's a lot of bought and paid for reviews, and you also have the cult members who don't even read the book, or doesn't matter what the book says, they're going to go ahead and rate it 5 star because they're brainwashed. You see? So if it's got a lot of exposure, what's going to happen is that eventually you're going to have people, and these are typically going to be people later on, who say, oh wow, it's a highly rated book, I'm going to read it. And they read it like, what is this shit? It's supposed to be a good book. The review said that it's a good book. You see, that's how it works. And speaking of that, I'm going to show you actually a similar situation for Henderson's book. So this is not Trustpilot. I'll show you Trustpilot here later so you can compare and see. I'll point it out. I mean, why would anybody fucking pay? I don't understand. Listen, folks, here's the deal. All you got to do is do a search online. Okay, you want a long-term visa, a residency, Malaysia, you're going to have to pay $450 around, I don't know, they change it. I don't keep it up to date, but it's around $450, I think, for my second home. Okay? And there's many companies in Malaysia you can contact that you deal with that. But my point is this. If you want to get a long-term residency in another country, don't you think you should visit the fucking country first and spend some time there? Of course. So if you do that, that's when you go and you look around for companies that are based there to help you get a visa. You got it? That's what you do. There's no second passports. That's a fucking lie. Okay? The most you can get are long-term visas. Okay? Long-term visas. Portugal, Greece, maybe a couple others in Europe, they have their golden visa plan. You got to buy a house, anywhere from 250 euros to maybe 350 euros. Okay? You buy a house and you get a 10-year visa. And these things can change every once in a while in terms of the modifications. For instance, in Portugal, they've changed where you can buy the house in certain locations, so on and so forth. Okay? My point is that going through Andrew Henderson, you're just fucking stupid. The guy, once again, he's a college flunky. He flunked out of college. If you're going to go to anyone that's not based in a country, okay, you go to an international law firm who, by the way, you're talking about obviously educated people who are experienced, who are, a big staff of professionals, a big network, and they're not even going to charge a fraction of what Henderson is charging. This guy is such a scammer on so many fucking levels. It's shocking. And he's going for, oh, well, I'm going for the high client. The high client, rich people go with me. We're rich. No, they don't. Dumb people do. You're a con man, dude. Here you go. Take a look at this. See, this is an example here. John says, isn't it funny how Katerina is the person that responds on Trustpilot? She's the person that responds to the bad review, and always she'll say, or at least at this point, she was the person. I'm sure they have a different person now, but the response is always, "Oh, I'm sorry, we can't find any record of you." In other words, she's basically saying this is a fake review, right? It's funny how all the 1-star reviews she can't find a record of. You see what I'm saying? And so they use that to pull the review. So that you take a look at Trustpilot right now on Nomad Capitalist, you'll see almost 5-star. And so people go by that. Hey, dumbasses, don't ever trust a fucking review that you don't know who wrote it, okay? Because you got to know if the person, first of all, has good judgment, and second of all, if they're a scammer, if they're a paid review. Okay? I mean, seriously, these are just fucking common sense basics. If you don't know this stuff, you guys got some serious fucking problems. You really do. So I'm going to show you now. I'm going to show you some stuff here. Going to get interesting now. So here's his YouTube channel. Almost 1 million subscribers. I remember when he had 10,000. And so just take a look at the videos. Why thousands of Americans are renouncing their citizenship. How to live in Latin America and pay almost zero taxes. I mean, this is all complete horseshit. Now take a look. Take a look who he's got. Doug Casey. Doug Casey, you see, this is the guy, Doug Casey, Casey Research. He's in a whole fucking cabal of scammers, of penny stock promoting fucking scammers. Okay, these are the guys that pump gold and tell you, oh, gold is going to $10,000 an ounce. But guess what? You can make a lot more money than that if you buy the junior miners. When you hear junior miner, that's a scam. Junior miners are fucking scams. They're penny stock fucking scams, okay? Remember, I'm the Wall Street big swinging dick. I'm the guy that worked at UBS. I'm the guy that predicted the financial crisis. Got it? I'm not a guy selling you fucking gold. I don't sell securities. I'm giving you this fucking wisdom for free to save your fucking life. Doug Casey, folks, this is what I'm talking about. The more you understand about this whole industry of scammers, the more you're going to see all this stuff, because I know the whole fucking shebang, right? So I can instantly see these guys. I know the whole MO. It's so obvious. He's here with Doug Casey. Doug Casey is in that whole gold pumping scene with Rick Rule and Porter Stansberry and Marin Katuza and E.B. Tucker. And it's endless, the names of these guys, okay? And what they do, people don't understand it. They're in the business of promoting penny stocks. You see? They get paid money to put pump pieces out on penny stocks. And they're involved in pump and dumps. And their followers are too fucking stupid to realize that. Okay? Doug Casey, as I mentioned earlier, back in 2010, was telling people to move to Puerto Rico. I'm sorry, to move to Argentina to escape the collapse in America. So this was, after the financial crisis, 2010. Moved to Argentina. Of course, he wanted you to move to Salta, Argentina, which is kind of the cocaine capital of Argentina, by the way. Very fucking drug-ridden, violence-ridden place. And he wanted you to move there. Why? Because he had a real estate project there. You could buy a house by Doug Casey, right? Total overpriced disaster, just like Jeff Berwick, the other second passport scam artist, whose mentor is Doug Casey, who is selling the same fucking real estate shit in Chile, and that was also a disaster. I talked about this before. These guys are all fucking scammers, folks. Scammers hang together. You understand? They hang out together. If you see one, you know the other guy's a scammer. So he's pitching Doug Casey, and he's trying to get you to Latin America. They don't talk about all the fucking hyperinflation in Latin America, and they don't talk about the danger in Latin America. When I was looking for places to move, I decided against Latin America, not only because it's run by the same fucking criminal, parasitic, money-worshipping cabal that runs the West, by the way, if you didn't know that, but mainly because it's very dangerous in Latin America. You can have your head fucking chopped off in an instant. If you don't believe me, you don't know what the fuck's going on. Latin America is not a safe area, generally speaking. Are there safe places in Latin America? Sure. It's like Mexico. Mexico, can be safe, but it can also be very dangerous. So Latin America, for me, was off the fucking radar. It's very dangerous. Okay, obviously, if you're coming from the West, especially America, if you want to go somewhere, relocate, retire, whatever, obviously Latin America has tremendous advantages, right, to other parts of the world. You're very close to America. You're a short flight home to a world-class hospital, right? The culture is closer, right? The language, right, is the language barrier is smaller. So, you have a lot of advantages. But guess what? I don't want to live in a dangerous fucking place. Okay? So you don't hear about these realities, do you? All you hear about from Henderson and his associate conmen are great cost of living. It's so great. Get out of America. It's terrible. Oh, and by the way, take a look. He's so proud of go where you're treated best. I got it trademarked. It's my saying. And you got his dumb fucking minions. You read the comments on the channel. Yeah, I like what you're saying. I like it. Folks, let me explain something here. Go where you're treated best. I'll tell you where you're treated best. Generally speaking, you're going to be treated best in your home country, wherever that may be. But definitely, without a doubt, if you're from a Western country, you're going to be treated best in your Western country. Now, if you think that you're going to move from England or from America or some other Western country to Mexico or Brazil or Thailand, right, or Hong Kong or wherever, and you're going to be treated better, you're fucking delusional. Think about it for a second. Go where you're treated best? Okay, well, I don't know. Let's see. In America, yeah, look, I don't like what's going on in America. There's a lot of problems. But guess what? I have freedom of speech. Well, I don't. I've been censored. I've been banned because I exposed the whole fucking mafioso, the whole shebang, without naming them. I exposed the whole plot. But try and go to a country, let's say, go to Latin America and start trashing the president. See what happens to you. You understand what happens to journalists in many of these countries in Latin America when they uncover scandals from the politicians? They disappear. And they're found with their fucking head chopped off. If you think I'm exaggerating, look it up. Research it. Okay? So, If so why don't you go to one of these other paradises like the Philippines or Thailand, right? Guess what? Are you treated the best there? Are you treated better there than you are in America? Well, you have no freedom of speech. You can't criticize the government, anything. In fact, you can't even give a bad rating to a hotel or restaurant, or you face the possibility of going to prison. Did you know that? Did you know that? Anybody know that? It happened. It's happened. You can go to prison in Thailand. Defamation is a criminal offense. You see, defamation everywhere else in the world is a civil offense. In Thailand, it's criminal. And it's criminal because they want to intimidate people against criticizing the government. So, here's how it works. If you're in Thailand, and let's say, if you're in Thailand, and you're not even a citizen, but you're running a business there, and I call you a scam artist, you can take me to court and sue me. It's a criminal court, and if I lose, I go to jail. You understand? Okay, that's a whole other topic of discussion. Does that sound like a country that treats you best, right? You understand? Or the fact that you're under constant surveillance in many of these countries, and I mean constant surveillance. Your internet's being watched, your activity. You have to report to immigration wherever you go. You all know this, right? How about Singapore? Jim Rogers tells you Singapore is a great place. It's so clean and it's amazing. Well, guess what? Try saying something about the government in Singapore and see what happens to you. You're in deep fucking trouble. Okay? Or let's say maybe you run out of money in one of these great countries that Andrew Henderson promotes, Georgia or Colombia, right? Guess what's going to happen to you? You're fucked. There's no welfare. How about America? You're down on your luck. You don't have any food, no housing, no health care. Guess what? There's welfare. You understand what I'm saying? So you're treated best in the West. He wants to tell you it's terrible, right? No, look at all these stupid videos. And he wants to promote El Salvador, these fucking shitholes, right? Look, leave now, leave. Folks, I've lived around the world and I'm telling you, okay? I'm telling you right now, this guy is not presenting the truth. He's trying to sway people. And some people out there are going to make a very bad decision. And they may not live to regret it. I can tell you that right now. This guy's a fraud. He's a liar. He's a con man. Let's take a look at this. Well, before we do, let me show you here. So one thing that this guy did is he used to be known for, people would talk about it. He would have, you could tell he was a con man. He would show you on his website his associates, and they were always these girls, like from fucking, like Eastern Europe, kind of the Soviet bloc countries. You could tell, Armenia and stuff like that. Because they're cheap labor, I guess. I don't know, but he would. He show you on his website, they're like wearing tight outfits. And I mean, they're not really attractive, but you could say, I mean, I guess they're presented attractively. They got a lot of makeup on, and a lot of people would think that they're attractive, and they're a lot of them would show their cleavage and shit like this. Okay, so that's a red flag right there. He's trying to allure you with the whole sex, right? And let me go ahead and let's take a look at his site now. There you go. You see that? I mean, to me, she's a butterface. She's not attractive at all. But, most people, relative, they're going to say, well, she's attractive because she's young. She's presentable, right? You see what I'm saying? Let's take a look here. And so this is from, I think, Yeah, 2020. This is a Wayback Machine. Okay. I mean, look at this. Look at the guy. Look at the way he's dressed, folks. This is no different than the Lambo lifestyle. You understand the Lambo lifestyle with these traders. And let me just mention, for those of you who don't know, you might be tuning into this. You haven't heard me before. Anyone who promotes any type of trading futures, contracts, trading options, trading stocks, just pure trading, okay, is a fraud. Trading in terms of doing it successfully as the strategy to make money. They're frauds. They can't do it. They can't beat the S&P or the appropriate index doing that. It's a complete lie. It's a complete fucking scam. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't have any trading skills or ever trade, right? Because there are times. But I'm talking about people who promote trading. Because you see, the trading guys, they want to promote, oh, I made $10,000 today, right? It's the fast money. You see, it's not sustainable. They always blow up. It's complete fraud. Now, remember, I'm the big swinging dick. I'm the Wall Street insider. Show me some guys out there who are Wall Street insiders pushing trading. They're trading things. There's not going to be many at all. Okay? So, I'm telling you, that's all a scam. Right? But those guys, of course, many of the guys that want to show you their Lambo lifestyle, right? And this guy's doing the same thing to a different degree, right? He's showing you his little sweater, his gay little outfit, like he's some oh, I'm an aristocrat. You know, that's how he's trying to lure people with his bullshit, his stupid glasses. Remember, this is a guy who flunked out of a shitty school. He flunked out of a tier 2 or 3 school, a shitty school, not even like not even a top, I don't even know, a really bad school. He flunked out of a party school. Okay? And he had to clean fucking swimming pools for a living until he discovered the grift. He jumped aboard the doomsday bandwagon, you know, where Peter Schiff was telling everybody how America's bad, the economy's bad. Peter Schiff's telling everyone that China has a more capitalist economy than America. You all know that, right? Right? So he jumped aboard that bandwagon. That whole bandwagon Peter Schiff launched. Peter Schiff is the godfather of the Doomsday Crime Syndicate. Doomsday Crime Syndicate. I say crime syndicate because it's a big network of people that are committing fucking fraud and scams through lies, disinformation to sell gold and to sell penny stocks. And in the case of Doug Casey and Rick Rule and all those fucking charlatans, they will typically get people to buy these worthless fucking warrants for penny stocks. Folks, we're talking about a whole fucking dark underbelly that you all most of you don't even have any idea about. I'm telling you right now. Okay? And I hope these motherfuckers hear this. Of course, you know, they're not, if they hear it, they're not going to do anything, because the worst thing they can do is to confront me on it. Because you know why? Because all I need is some incentive to really dig deep. If I fucking dig deep and get the meat on these motherfuckers, they're in deep trouble. I can guarantee you that right now. They'll be in deep fucking trouble. But you know, these guys, they're protected, right? Because they're chosen. You know, they're in the chosen clan. Anyway. You know, it's kind of funny. And by the way, Mr. Henderson is also in that cabal. Isn't it weird how so many fucking scammers out there are related, and yet the representation in the population is minuscule? That's so bizarre. Maybe we should bring that topic up and talk to Joe Rogan about that. I mean, can we talk to that on a Joe Rogan show? Of course not, because Joe Rogan's show is filled with the same fucking parasites. Okay? He launches the career or builds the career of these same fucking parasites. Anyway. More money and freedom. 3 simple steps. I mean, look at it. He's actually pushing Amazon FBA, affiliate market. Yeah, it's because this guy's basically an affiliate marketer is what he is. Complete horseshit. Unbelievable. Look at the girl with the boobs here. So look, I mean, you all understand. Look at this. You see this? I mean, does this look professional to you guys? I mean, look at the way this. I mean, is this girl? Is she? I mean, has she ever sold herself for any type of sexual activity? Because it looks like she has. I mean, am I wrong? Am I being too harsh? You understand what I'm saying? But he used to have one of. If you go back the Wayback Machine, you'll see he had a whole fucking army of these girls like this, and you're like, what is this? A fucking, it's like a, it's like a phone sex site or something. He wanted to lure people in, to suck them in. So let's take a look now. What else we got here? Yeah. Free U.S.-China business insights. You don't have any insights, you fucking charlatan. You college flunky piece of shit. Notice how over the years, by the way, right? Over the years, he's expanded his wardrobe. You know why? He's been successful in scamming more fucking people. He scammed a lot of fucking people. And what needs to happen to this piece of fucking trash is that somebody needs to make a website for people to post on this guy as a clearinghouse for people to share their stories, because there's a lot of pissed off people and people don't really know about it. There needs to be a place where people can post and submit stuff to build a case against this guy. He's already been sued at least a couple of times. But once again, this is why he renounced his U.S. citizenship, so it's more difficult to sue him, because you see what happens is this. If you're a U.S. citizen, it doesn't matter where you live. Okay, you can still be sued, and they're gonna come after your assets. The only way to escape that is to renounce your U.S. citizenship. Ask yourself why somebody would do that. Why, if you were, I mean, you understand, people would pay a lot of money to get a U.S. passport. It's a very powerful passport. It's the most powerful passport in the world. Forget what you fucking hear. You read stupid shit online. Oh, Sweden. That's bullshit. U.S. passport is the most fucking powerful passport in the world. That's a goddamn fact. In fact, let me just go ahead and tell you a couple of examples right now. This doesn't prove it. I'm saying just as a couple of examples. I mean, you can imagine U.S. passport. You're from America, the superpower. What do you think? Okay. In Thailand, foreigners cannot own businesses. A Thai has to own it 51%. Okay? Except if you're an American. Americans can own a business in Thailand outright. Okay? It's called the Amity Treaty. Okay? Other countries, there's also many other privileges for Americans. For instance, before COVID, in Vietnam, Americans were the only people in the world in Vietnam who were able to get 1-year tourist visas. Everybody else could only get a 1 or 3 month, but Americans could get a 1-year fucking tourist visa, which basically means you can live there. Right? There's many other examples. Okay? My point is this. American passport is very fucking sought after. It's very powerful. Why would a person who's if you're a billionaire, if you're a billionaire, you can get a passport anywhere you want. Okay, you can get a passport that's similar to an American passport. It's on the same level from Europe, let's say. But this guy ain't no billionaire. Why would he relinquish his U.S. passport for some fucking shit zone country? He did it to escape the lawsuits, the legal action, because he's a fraud. This guy is an unconvicted criminal. He's not been convicted yet, but he is engaged in fraudulent activity, which in some countries, well, depending upon the level, I mean, folks, you got to understand this guy's a piece of shit. Anyway, another telltale sign of a con man. They always show you, well, when it applies, they will show you their media appearances, right? Appeared on this. Because they do this because they know that most people are stupid and think that that means that they're valid, that they've been in the media. And I've proven for fucking almost 2 decades, if they're in the media, chances are extraordinarily high that they're a scammer. They're not valid. Okay? Now, he hasn't been in the media. Most of it, in other words, he's paid for advertisements. That's how he says he's in the media, right? But, the typical dummy, oh, well, it must be valid. You see, the dumbasses. Complete fraud. This guy's a total fraud, and anyone who gives this guy a fucking penny, you're a fucking dumbass. Call us. This is an Austin, Texas number here, 512. So this is a virtual office, I guess. I don't know. Well, this is an old site. He had to. I thought it was based in Arizona. Anyway, let me go ahead and show you now. Oh, here you go. So let's take a look now at his book. Of course, it's been a while now I've noticed more than 10 years, basically people who write books, it's all bullshit. It's all marketing. They just fluff bullshit to say, I'm great, buy my shit. Okay? So take a look here. What do you have? So 2,420 reviews. I can tell you right now, that's a lie. He paid for fake reviews, guaranteed. Now, take a look. Let me show you. What did you see on the other page? Do you notice this? It's on the audiobook. You know what that means? I've explained this before. This is how Patrick Bet-David and Alex Hormozy and all these other scammers that get someone to write a book and get all these reviews. You see, they circumvent Amazon's system of detecting fake reviews. How? Very easily. Because if you have the Kindle or the Amazon Prime or whatever it takes, you can get the book for no money or $1. So what does that mean? That means it's very easy to pay some guy in India or the Philippines or some other predominantly English-speaking country in the developing world to write fake reviews for you. You understand? Got it? Very quickly can do that. So what do? Well, you go through, as I said, and you take a look at the 1 and 2 star reviews if you want to see the truth. Okay? So let's do that. And by the way, you can just go through it. I haven't analyzed this, but you can analyze it several ways. The book was apparently, I guess it says 2021. Apparently, well, this is another version. I guess it was 2018 because take a look. The review here, published April 2018. 2019. Okay. So let's take a look here. What do the 1 star reviews say? If you're looking to read a brag piece about how someone beat the system for 200 pages while not telling you how to do it, then look no further. The vast majority of this book is an opinion piece, not informational as it marketed. That said, I've included below all of the information that I actually learned in those wasted hours so that you don't have to waste your time and money like I did. Seems like nothing, basically. Long-winded sales pitch that lacks substance. There you go. I mean, Folks, I mean, all you got to do is look at the guy. Once again, he flunked out of a shitty college, right? And he comes across with his pseudo-intellectual bullshit. And he's always talking about how he's so superior, right? Once again, folks, who does that? A con man does that, okay? People that do that are insecure and they usually don't have anything to stand on. Once again, you all know me. I'm an Ivy League graduate. Not just an Ivy League graduate. An Ivy League graduate in a very difficult discipline in chemistry. Okay? I've received funding from the National Science Foundation, right? Scholarships, this, that. I never even told anybody this before, right? Do I sound like a pompous motherfucker? No. I don't need to do that. I show fucking results. I'm not a con man. This is what a con man does. He gives you all this bullshit to make you think that he's some uppity guy. Oh, he's from the upper crust. Yet he's a fucking flunky out of college. And he's advising people, ripping them off. Are you fucking kidding me? You can't even make this shit up. Nobody would believe that anybody would fall for this type of shit. Just read it for yourself. Okay? See, that's what he wants to promote it as a rich, his service is for the rich people. As if, oh, well, yeah, we're that good. We can serve the rich. No, you can't. You serve the stupid. Anybody that gives you money is fucking stupid. Dumb as fuck. And let me tell you, anybody that gives this guy money, you need special therapy. In fact, maybe you should contact me and I'll go through and clean your fucking brain. Because if you don't get your brain fucking cleared, you're going to go through and get conned more and more over the years. Because there's something fundamentally wrong with the way you see things, the way you think, your judgment. It's got to be fixed. So basically, it's a bragging book with a bunch of fiction and false claims. It doesn't show you anything, just to get you to buy his service is all it is. Complete bullshit. So here you go. Your plan B for an uncertain world. Well, ask yourself who his clientele, his intended clientele is. It's Westerners, folks. Folks, let me tell you something. The uncertain world is not the West. You may think it is because you fall for all the doomsday bullshit. Remember, I'm the world authority here. I'm the big swinging dick, and I'm telling you right now, the uncertainty is outside of the Western world. If you think the Western world is uncertain, come spend some time in the East. Come spend some time in Latin America, in Africa, in the Middle East, in Eastern Asia, in Southeast Asia. You talk about uncertain. Are you fucking kidding me? Okay? See, he keeps promoting passport. Folks, it's not a passport. He's a fraud. You're talking about visas, okay? Let me give you an example. Okay? Thailand just upped their game on the visas. Just one example. Because there's a competition going on, especially in Asia. Malaysia has been an attractive area to go to, but they've upped the ante. They raised the price of their second Malaysia home program, or some second home Malaysia, whatever they call it, M2M or something. I think it used to be $3 or $350,000. I think it's now $450,000. The home that you have to purchase to get like a 10-year residence. Okay. Well, Thailand now has 2 visas that they just launched, DTV and the I forgot what it's called. I don't know what it's called, but it's known as a wealthy pensioner. So the DTV, Destination Thailand, you can get a 5-year visa to Thailand now. See, before you could only get a retirement visa, which is pretty good. A lot of the countries don't have retirement visas. Philippines doesn't have an official retirement visa, but you can get a retirement visa there easily. Philippines is probably one of the easiest. The immigration is very accommodative. But I mean, Philippines got a lot of fucking problems, man. Infrastructure, probably the worst place in the world for weather perils. They got everything. Earthquake, tornado, monsoon, floods, everything. But anyway, Thailand, for about $400, you can get a 5-year visa that allows you to stay there for 6 months every year. Now, you can stay there for the full year. All you got to do is do a border run. Just leave the country and come back. You see? No age requirement. In Thailand, the retirement visa is 50 and up. Okay, so if you're not 50 and up, you can't get a retirement visa. That's for 1 year. Okay, and you have to deposit close to $30,000, about $28,000 in the bank, keep it there, or show a pension of around $1,800 or something like that. So this destination Thailand is a game changer. There's no fucking age requirement at all, and no income requirement. You don't have to put money in the bank. All you got to do is basically show that you are, if you're self-employed, you just basically write yourself a letter and authorize yourself to work in Thailand. So they call it the digital nomad visa. The other one is a wealthy pensioner visa, which is for 10 years, renewable after the fifth year twice, right? Or renewable once for 10 years. All you do there is you show that you have passive income per year of $80,000. And that one you can stay in the country the whole time. So, those are two examples of visas that are very easy to get. And, I mean, should I be charging money for my services here? You understand? I mean, I don't even follow this shit. This is just, stuff that you... Folks, let me just explain something. If you leave the West and you are going to another country, okay, one thing you got to learn, and I know that Henderson has never talked about this because I know he's a fucking idiot. He's just a fucking peon. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's a con man and a fraud. He's an idiot. College flunky loser. You got to have a backup system. Okay, if you're living in another country, you got to have backups because the visa immigration laws change all the time. I've got backups. I live in several countries. Okay, visa laws have changed many times over the past few years to the downside. Only recently are some of the countries changing the laws to be more favorable. Before this, the visa laws in Thailand were actually pushing people out. You see, they were not favorable at all. They didn't have this income requirement before. They didn't have this bank deposit requirement. They have a health insurance requirement as well. They didn't have that before. So my point is that you never will know what's going to happen. You have to have backups. Okay? So my point is there's no passports. It's visas. Andrew Henderson is lying from the start, selling his second. There is no fucking second passports. St. Kitts, okay, and some of those other islands, that's it. That's fucking it. Anything else is not a second passport. You got it? And I don't know why you want to live in St. Kitts. There's nobody there. Okay? You understand? Cayman Islands, maybe. Who cares? No one's there except fucking Raoul Paul scamming people. Andrew Henderson is lying from the outset. He's basically trying to sell you visas. Folks, you can get these visas for a few $100s. Okay? And if you don't know that, why the fuck are you going to somebody you haven't spent time in that country? Why would you want to... Are you fucking stupid? Really? Jesus fucking Christ. So... yeah, go where you're treated best. Folks, I can tell you right now. I don't like America. I don't like what's happened to America. I don't like the fucking criminals in America. But guess what? I know one thing. In America, I'm not going to die of starvation on the street. Or I'm not going to die of a medical issue on the street unless no one finds me. In America, they will treat you in the hospital without any ability to pay if it's a life-threatening situation. They won't do that in these other countries. Do you know that? You realize that, right? They're not going to do that in the developing world. Let me tell you a little story, by the way. You can look this up. You can search it for yourself and find out. I came across this story a few months ago in Thailand. How there was a guy, I think he was Japanese. I'm not sure, but something happened, some medical emergency, and so they took him to the hospital emergency room, and he was unconscious, and I think it was a private hospital. And so he was unconscious. He didn't have anything on him. There was no one with him. So they couldn't find out if he could pay the bill. So what do? They transported him to a government hospital. And guess what? He died on the way there. So think about it. They were not going to treat him because they could not find out if he had any ability to pay. So they wasted critical time transporting him. And understand, in Thailand, like most of these countries, they don't fucking yield for the ambulance, okay? They don't yield for the ambulance. Have you all seen it, right? They don't. People on this, they don't care. The ambulance is it's like struggling to get by the cars. So they put him in that situation, in a life-threatening situation. They put him in a situation where they're going to transport him to the hospital because they couldn't find out if he had the ability to pay, and he died. Look it up. You don't believe me. I mean, this shit sounds crazy. It doesn't even sound believable. I'm telling you, there's crazy shit that happens in these other countries. You all are spoiled if you're from the Western world. You're fucking spoiled and don't realize it because you haven't fucking been out of your ivory fucking house. You haven't lived. You're hearing all these stories about how all these countries are fucking paradise by these travel vloggers on ScamTube, and it's all lies. It's fiction. They're a bunch of fucking scammers. I'm telling you. They don't show you the fucking reality. And this is all this stuff is connected because people are seeing, oh, my country sucks. Look at this wokeness and the crime and this. Wow, look at the Philippines. It's beautiful. It's amazing. Okay, go to the Philippines. Spend some fucking time there. It's not like what you see on ScamTube. ScamTube is fiction. Ad-based content is Hollywood production. It's a scam. It's fiction. Meet our team. Let's see. So, here's another. I want to show you guys this one. Here you go. So here's Trustpilot, the scam review site. Take a look. 4.6. Almost perfect. Okay, see that? Let's take a look and see it. Let's see the 1-star reviews here. I'll show you guys the deal. Okay. You can just go through this for yourself. But Trustpilot is a total fucking scam review site. That's fact, folks. All the scammers, you'll notice, just remember that. You'll see them. They're showing Trustpilot. Oh, look. In fact, let's see, this Jeremy guy's on here. What is it? Financial Fortress. All the fucking trading fucking scammers are on here, by the way. I can't find it. SiteJabber. This one is. I don't think that they are. That you can pay them to remove. You all remember Yelp, right? What Yelp was doing many years ago. They were basically extorting people that had bad reviews, restaurants, to basically pay to get the reviews removed, so on and so forth. That's what this Trust Pilot is doing. SiteJabber, I think, is more valid. But, understand that he's also paying for fake reviews, right? It's just that on Trustpilot, he can have most of the fake reviews removed. You see? So once again, for me, it doesn't. I don't look at these reviews to judge Henderson because I already know the deal. It just confirms what I already know. It gives me some detail. That's all. So. But I know for a fact that this guy spent a lot of money paying for fake reviews. I know that for a fact. What else we have here? Oh, yeah, here's another one. This is a great example. So Glassdoor is this site that reviews employers. So if you've worked at a company, you can review your employer. Well, take a look at this now. He's got 84 reviews. Think about that for a second. 84 reviews. First of all, he doesn't have many full-time employees. The employees that he shows you are like outsourced contractors. As you can imagine. And they're not even full-time. You understand? So take a look at this. He's showing here he's got 50 to 200 employees, which is completely bogus. Come on. But he has these fake reviews in here. And take a look. Let's see. Oh, 4.8. He's great to work for. That's interesting because there's a guy who actually wrote an article about him. I can't recall where it is. I remember seeing it. Let me show you here. I can do a search. But he exposed the guy. I think he told the story about how he was working for him in Georgia and how he can't disclose anything because he signed an NDA. Anyway, you can look that up, find it on your own. Here's the, oh wow. I think I saw this minority mindset guy in this audience. But here's his Nomad capitalist thing he does every year. Folks, all these summits, they're scams. You all know that, right? Write it down. All of these summit things, whatever, they're all scams. Guaranteed, write it down. Nomad Summit, Hard Assets, they're all scams featuring charlatans. Okay? Anyway, so he's clearly pulling in a lot of money now, fooling people. That's why he's on the run always. Look at this. Look at his little tuxedo thing, right? Remember, this is not an Ivy League graduate guy. It's not a former Wall Street guy. He's a pool cleaner. He used to clean swimming pools after he flunked out of college. Okay? He has no education, no skills, nothing, except he's a marketer and a con man. That's all. So take a look. And of course, this is the join the waiting list. This is the so-called, this is the scarcity scam. The scarcity scam. Oh, well, you got a waiting list. We're over capacity now because we're in such high demand because everybody wants to join. So join the waiting list. There's no fucking waiting list. That's all nonsense. Okay. So take a look at these speakers here. This gives you an idea. I don't know who they are, but I can guarantee you they're con artists. Take a look. So notice the little, the mark, the flashy, right? Whenever you see something like this, it's flashy. You know it's a con man, right? They're spending all their time and money on superficial appearances, right? Kind of like the tuxedo, right? Superficial appearances. Because there's no substance. There's no fucking meat. You got it? So of course, he's paying many of these people to come. Jim Rogers, he's paying for sure. Because Jim Rogers is a fraud. Jim Rogers makes all his money from media appearances. Okay? and speaking events. That's fact. I've exposed this a long time ago. That's why he has the posture, the stance that he does. He's trashing the U.S. all the time, right? He's a gold pumper. Why? Because he gets invited to all these stupid doomsday conferences, liberty, freedom conferences, right? He also is on the board of directors, which pays a lot of money, of scammy companies, of resource companies. Many of them are scams. Many of them are in Canada, in Russia, in China. That's how Jim Rogers makes all his money. Okay? That's why now you may have noticed that Jim Rogers is always wrong. The media's giving this guy a fucking career. They're giving him a microphone. Remember, the media gives these people a life, folks. It's not just Jim Rogers being a fraud, a con man. The media gives him a voice. Think about that. I know that because I have no voice. You understand? The media is the ultimate fucking problem. And of course, all these guys are, just about all of them are related. Okay? So you got Doug Casey here next to him, right? Do I need to go through all these guys? Remember, Jim I've exposed Jim Rogers. I'm the only person in the world to expose Jim Rogers, you see. I've exposed his track record. He's a failed investor. He's a fucking idiot. He's a fraud. I have no evidence the guy ever knew anything. I don't know if he ever knew anything. But one thing I know for sure, he's been completely wrong for the past 25 fucking years about everything. And I mean everything. Okay? Everything. Even his whole mantra, you all know his little mantra thing, right? His whole little backstory is, oh, well, he worked at George Soros' quantum fund and they made 1,500%. He retired. No, he didn't. He didn't retire. No, you didn't. If you're giving interviews every fucking day, you didn't retire. Jim Rogers changed careers. He became a media guy. That's why you see him being interviewed every fucking day. You see, the more interviews he gives, the more he gets invited to other interviews. He gets in the circuit. They invite him to the conferences. You see, these conferences are cheerleading events. You understand? You're not getting valuable, objective, neutral information. You're getting sold to. They're selling you their fucking bullshit. All these conferences. Okay? You understand that. So, Jim Rogers, his backstory is, oh yeah, so I retired and then I traveled around the world and then I decided I'm going to move to China because I recognize China is the next great superpower, right? That's what his whole story was. And so he moved to China, right? And I think this was, back in he released his book. Somebody, well, we can look it up right now. Look it up right now, Jim Rogers. I have a lot of images that are annotated that go over Jim Rogers, the fraud. Yeah, so you can take a look at his book here. Basically useless shit. I mean, think about it for a second, folks. Think about this for a second. Ask yourself, and this especially goes to those people who might have been longtime subscribers to my research or read my books. Think about what you have learned from listening to me and reading my books, right, and getting my research, so on and so forth. And think about what you've learned, not even to mention my accuracy, which is very high. Think about what you've learned from Jim Rogers. When the guy opens his mouth, it's just the same gibberish bullshit. Oh, well, the U.S. is not doing good. The dollar, right? And take a look at his books now. Biker, Adventure Cat, it's fucking nonsense, right? Gift to My Children, Streets, just bullshit. The only book where he has anything related to investments is his Hot Commodities book. So let's take a look here real quick. Let's take a look at the public. Okay, March 2007. Okay. So think about that. He's writing a book telling you, to get into commodities, right? Guess what? Commodities blew up a year later. They blew the fuck up. Financial crisis, right? But his whole deal was, I'm moving to China. I decided they're going to be the next great place to be. That's where you want to be in the 21st century. That's his whole fucking spiel. You've heard that, right? That's his whole byline. And when in reality, what happened was Jim Rogers was basically fucking booted. He was basically shamed and kicked out of the establishment because he humiliated a grad student. For some strange reason, they let him teach a course at Columbia. I mean, can you imagine this fucking nutcase? And he berated a student, and this went viral. This was back in 2000, 2001. I mean, when the internet was just getting started, everybody found out about it, how he treated this guy, and so he was basically fucking done. So he makes up this fucking story about China, and he goes over there because he realized he can take his little bullshit fake legendary status over to China, and they're not going to know any different. Asian people are pretty naive compared to the West. They kind of go. They generally don't question things like people in the West because of their societies. It's different, of course, a little different in Hong Kong, Singapore, where it's more Western, right? But generally speaking, it's just they don't. So they're not going to even question anything. I mean, you don't have people question Jim Rogers in America. I mean, people, they fall for all the bullshit claims, right? I'm the only person that's exposed the guy. And so anyway, he tells you that he moved to China. It's going to be the next great place to be. But guess what? Then he says, well, I went ahead and moved to Singapore because it was too polluted in China. So think about that for a second. His whole thing is China's the next great place to be, but he can't even live there because it's so fucking polluted. Newsflash, Singapore ain't China. Singapore is much fucking closer to Malaysia than China. Okay, as far as I'm concerned, I consider Singapore a fucking special economic zone of Malaysia. Okay, they can call themselves a country if they want. I don't care. To me, they're a special fucking economic zone of Malaysia. Okay, so that's Jimmy Rogers' whole little pitch about how Asia is going to be so great in China. Folks, Jim Rogers got it wrong again and again and again. China will never be a superpower. I went over that in my special China Report presentation. It's fundamental reasons why they will never, ever be a superpower. In fact, China has already peaked. Their economy, their living standards have peaked. It's downhill from here. That's fact. Write it the fuck down. Who's the big swinging dick? I've been researching China for 20 fucking years. I know China better than anybody. I don't have any fucking agendas. Okay, unlike Ray Dalio, the fucking airhead moron who got his company loaded up in Chinese investments, and they've collapsed now, one reason why he was forced out the fucking company. They forced his ass out. You don't hear that, do you? Why do you think Ray Dalio would write some stupid ass book telling everyone, I think it was 2021, his book, right? It talks about how China's the next superpower, basically. Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, if you want to see what's going to happen to China, just go back and study history and look at what happened to Japan. Okay. The only problem for China is that back when Japan collapsed after peaking, Japan was already an advanced economy. China hasn't gotten there. They're in trouble. They're in deep fucking trouble. And then you add to that the fact that they're run by a communist regime. They're in deep fucking trouble. I'm not going to say any more about that. But once again, understand, this is Jim Rogers telling you how great China is. You know, Jim Rogers, Peter Schiff, all these fucking charlatans who want to tell you every place is great except America. You know, the country that has developed most modern innovations, right? Anyway. So let's get back here to, where was I? Here we go. So that was Jim Rogers. Doug Casey. Remember, Doug Casey's Mr. Argentina, telling everybody 2010, 11, 12, 13, come to Argentina, escape the collapse in America. Of course, America boomed. Argentina blew up. You got it? Doug Casey's a fucking scammer. And what happens, see, Doug Casey and Rick Rule. There's this kind of underground circuit of it's kind of the cult members. You don't hear about them a whole lot. You kind of have to search for them, and there's this kind of like they kind of lay a little bit low, right? But they have this huge following because they create this kind of urban legend about how Doug Casey's this great investor. In fact, some have claimed he's a billionaire. Same thing with Rick Rule. Oh, legendary. They're not legendary, folks. They're fucking clowns. I mean, Rick Rule, think Rick Rule and Doug Casey, these guys are, Doug Casey's pushing fucking 80. Rick Rule, I mean, he's got to be close to 70. They're still fucking out working. God damn, I retired after working 15 fucking years in my 40s. I mean, what are you doing, guys? You broke dick motherfucking scammers. I mean, think about it for a second. These guys have been fucking scamming their whole lives, and they can't get enough, right? So Doug Casey, once again, these guys, that whole gold pumping circuit, gold pumping copy editors, they're involved in penny stock promotion. They're involved in pushing bullshit, private placements, warrants. These are things that are very risky. And so what they'll do, because they're not registered, they don't fall under securities laws. So guess what? They're not liable, right? They don't have to worry about if the client is suitable, because they're not advising. They're just basically promoting these companies that happen to have these investments. And so they'll have all these videos and all these articles telling you how great this company is and how gold is going to such and such, but you can make a lot more money if you invest in their fucking penny stocks. And then what they'll also do is they have this legendary status. Oh, Doug Casey, the great investor. Oh, Eric Sprott, the great investor. They're investing in this resource mining company, this penny stock. They have a lot of shares. And so the dipshits out there who are fucking stupid don't understand that what they're doing is basically a legal pump and dump. A legal pump and dump. In other words, they're disclosing that these guys have shares in that stock, right? And they're doing it because they want you to think, well, gosh, they're great investors. If they own it, I'm going to buy it. And they're too stupid to realize that they're the fucking pigeons. They're the ones that's going to pump the stocks up so these guys can fucking dump it. But it's legal. What they're doing is legal, I guess. On the surface, it sounds legal, because they're actually disclosing these guys have the shares. But they're doing it based upon this whole legendary status. You understand? Once again, I said, in the beginning, look, most of the problem is with the fucking dumb people. The dumbass people are the ones that fuel these con men. That's the fucking problem. So of course, you got Robert Kiyosaki. I mean, folks, think about it. I mean, this is what I mean. If you understand who the con men are, all you got to do is just take a look here, and what do you think you have? Look. This fucking Nigel Farage, another con man. Max Kaiser, complete fucking fraud and con man. I don't know who this guy is. Author of Bitcoin Standard. He's obviously a con man. Okay. Daniel DiMartino Booth. I've already exposed this slob. Right? Another con. Bullshit artist. Okay. Former president of Estonia. Well, I'm sure he's a con man. He's a politician. Jim Rickards, absolute fucking liar and fraud con man. Peter Schiff. Do I need to say anything else, folks? Take a look. Do I need to say anything else? Oh my God, Patrick Boyle. Holy shit, we got Patrick Boyle. Folks, what did I tell you about Patrick Boyle? I exposed this motherfucking simp-ass bitch a long time ago. You understand what I'm talking about now? Do you understand? Do you realize now what I'm talking about when I expose these motherfuckers? You see what I mean? You understand? They're all fucking... When I find a guy who's a dishonest fucking scammer, I'm telling you right now, folks, this perfect example, Patrick Boyle, is involved with Andrew Henderson. Now, I think I saw an interview, but I didn't know he was attending his event. Look at that. You see that? Patrick Boyle, he fucking sleep. Somebody call up. He's a part-time teacher, basically, okay? Remember, he's got a master's degree teaching university courses. There's no other discipline I know where you can do that, except business school, because business school's a fucking joke. Okay? It's fucking dog shit. Call up his university and you tell his university that this guy is working with a fucking second passport scam artist, Andrew Henderson, pitching fucking conspiracy theories and bullshit, in addition to having claimed he was a hedge fund manager when he went on YouTube. E-begging like a bitch boy. Okay? It's a fraud. And Patrick Boyle is officially a fraud. It's that simple. I mean, can you believe that? Folks, I'm telling you, the more you observe, the more you learn, okay, the more you're going to spot more quickly. The more of these characters you understand, you're going to see more overlaps. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. And it's a perfect example right here with Patrick Boyle. Okay? You probably don't know many of these guys. You probably don't even know Doug Casey. Okay? You may not even know Max Kaiser. Right? Take a look. This is kind of a who's who list of scam artists. I mean, I guess the only guy really missing here is Tony Robbins, right? Tony Robbins would probably want too much money. Okay? Take a look. So, let's get to the video now. If I can, this seems to be frozen. Jesus Christ. Well, this happened before. Something is wrong with this fucking... Something is wrong with this page because it got frozen before. Fuck. Give me a second here. Yeah, this fucking sucks. This totally sucks. This page is fucked. Hey, Henderson, you might want to employ some people, I don't know, from the advanced world to do your website, you cheap bastard. Because this is the second time this has happened. I have to close all these. What a fucking... Oh man, this pisses me off. Well, there's nothing I can do. Jesus fucking Christ, this is going to take me a while now. By the way, I've got to reboot this. I'm not going to go back on that fucking scam site, though. Give me a second. I wanted to go on his site, on his channel. I want to go on his channel. Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah, so somebody needs to make a fucking website that's a portal of information, a data, a warehouse to store people's cases on this guy. So people, I mean, all these people really. So let me go ahead now and I had a video. Yeah, I wanted to show you this. So okay, let me the hell? Okay. There we go. You like that image of Peter Schiff there? His Valcambi? Fucking bullshit. You know, it's amazing to me. It's amazing to me the type of things that have come out of Peter Schiff's mouth. It's amazing. Anybody else who's not, you know, chosen, I think would have been barred from the industry saying some of the things he said. It's a whole nother topic of discussion. Let's take a look here. So he wants to tell you could live like a king in Armenia. Okay. Yeah. Moving to Hong Kong can make you rich. Okay. Yeah, if you moved there 30 years ago and bought property. But guess what? The property bubble is just now starting to fucking blow up in Hong Kong. You want to move to Hong Kong? You know what's going on there? It's basically China now. It's over. Game fucking over. Hong Kong is in deep trouble. That property bubble in Hong Kong that everybody was wondering about when it's going to collapse, well, it's collapsing finally. And he wants to tell you to go to Hong Kong. Yeah, everyone's rushing to become Turkish. Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, the real reason you renounced U.S. citizenship, yeah, it's not tax, it's to avoid lawsuits. Why don't you tell everybody that? Buy gold, get a second passport. Yeah, Bitcoin, yeah. You see that? So let's take a look. Let's go ahead and see this. Yeah, sign in. You go fuck yourself. I'm not going to sign in, you motherfucker. Give me a second here. Goddamn fucking scam tube. Because companies, people have been complaining that ScamTube. See, the people are onto ScamTube now, where they're saying, "Wait a second, see, Google Ads is a complete fraud. You all know this, right? It's an absolute fraud. There's so much fucking waste going on, and so now finally people say, "Wait a second, these ads aren't targeted. You're just posting ads. It's not relevant." You see, this is a recent thing with ScamTube. Google is such a fucking criminal company; it should be shut down. Of course, it's run by money worshipping parasites. You all know that. So here you go. Let's take a look here. Got it up and running. So let's listen to what he has to say. Let's see here. I'm curious because is this it looks like is he's changing his something a change to his second passport program. I mean, what second here's no second passport program. It's a fucking lie. Let's listen to what he has to say.
Here from me in Asia, about to do an interview with a potential executive at our company, but wanted to tell you before I do that about two citizenship programs. The first one is a sort of clarification. The second one is they're taking away one of your options, and this was one of the lesser known options to get what we could call, quote unquote, a free second passport. No risk. They're taking the option away. I'm going to update you.
Hold on a second. This volume is not. Okay. We'll try that again.
Busy day here for me in Asia, about to do an interview with a potential executive at our company, but wanted to tell you before I do that about two citizenship programs. The first one is a sort of clarification. The second one is they're taking away one of your options, and this was one of the lesser known options to get what we could call, quote unquote, a free second passport. No risk. They're taking the option away. I'm going to update you. First, let me tell you, we talked about El Salvador and their $1 million freedom passport aimed at Bitcoiners recently. We put that video out several days ago. And, you know, I'll tell you what, I have a newfound appreciation for the haters, particularly the haters who don't know who we are, and they just come in to hate on us for one video, because every time the local haters come in, the algorithm goes through the roof. If you look at our Live Like a Kings, for example, Live Like a King in Bogota, lots of folks complaining that yours truly is in Bogota now.
Yeah, haters, huh? That's good. More people are finding out this guy's a fraud. So let me just say something. $1 million passport El Salvador. Now, let me ask, anybody here know how much it costs to get a U.S. passport, or let's say long-term residency, right? To get into America, basically permanent residence. Anybody know? Anybody? It's less than $1 million. Depending upon the program you're talking about, it could be anywhere from, I think, 600,000 or 700,000 to 800,000 or 900,000. It's an investment program. Okay. If you invest in certain projects, you can. I think it's for as little as 600,000. Believe it or not. But you're restricted. You have to invest in certain projects, like like maybe some municipal project in fucking shitholes like Detroit or something like that. It's going to be higher risk. You can buy a property. You can buy a property in America, rent it out, and you can get a long-term residency from that. Think about that for a second. The greatest country in the world, the best opportunities in the world, America, right? The country that everybody wants to go to, the country that millions of people every year risk their lives to get into. You can get into that country, long-term residency, basically a passport, for less than $1 million, and you have this fucking banana republic shithole, El Salvador. You know El Salvador. That's like where all of their fucking guys have been coming to America illegally to work, right? And they won $1 million. Think about that for a second. Okay? Think about that. What kind of economic opportunity do you think you have in El Salvador? Anybody? Maybe you want to work on a fucking banana plant, right?
I don't meet any of these people in my neighborhood, but people came and complained. That's why Live Like a King Bogota is the most viewed Live Like a King. Live Like a King Malaysia, I think in part, not enough haters. People in Malaysia just don't hate. They're just too nice to go and hate. And so we got some hate on our video on El Salvador's freedom passport from people who I don't think understand the deal. Let me be clear in El Salvador. We're launching Nomad Capitalist Live, our annual event, April 15th. We will have someone coming and talking about El Salvador. We had Max Kaiser speak at Nomad Capitalist Live in 2022. We invited him again last year to speak next to Seyfedin Amos. And quite frankly, I'd be open to having Max come and speak again about El Salvador. Why? I think it's an interesting story. I like El Salvador. I was there before the crime issue was solved, and I do believe it.
Max Kaiser is a career con man, if you all don't know that. The guy is an absolute fraud. And like all these charlatans, he's fooled people. People think that Max Kaiser is on their side. He's a patriot. When the fact of the matter is that Max Kaiser is an absolute fraud, piece of shit con man. He's not on your side. He wants to fuck you. Max Kaiser pushes climate change. Max Kaiser is a globalist. And Max Kaiser is also a very Zionist money worshiper. Max Kaiser is also a guy who failed on Wall Street. And you know what happens. You all know what happens when you are chosen. You're from the chosen clan and you fail on Wall Street, which is almost impossible to do. I don't know how you do that when you're basically handed everything. You know what you do. You go to the next layer, right, where the cabal controls. You go to the media. That's what Max Kaiser did, right? Max Kaiser's a fraud. If you don't know about it, look into his gold pumping bullshit 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 14 years ago, his crash JP Morgan buy silver. He was selling silver coins on his website at 2 times the spot price, right? Selling all kinds of shit, selling lies, pitching doom, pitching bullshit. And then, of course, he jumped aboard the cryptocurrency bandwagon. Of course, Max Kaiser, he wants to tell you, he was pushing Bitcoin, he was promoting it, he was telling everyone it was going to be great back in 2014. That's what he tells everyone. Max, why aren't you a billionaire then? I'll tell you why, folks, because Max Kaiser never believed in Bitcoin. Max Kaiser doesn't believe in anything. He just pitches it to make money, you see. Max Kaiser's a fucking fraud. He's a failure and a fraud. He's a failed comedian, by the way. That's right. Failed comedian. Okay, look it up. He's a complete failure in everything he's done. Absolute piece of shit. He knows who I am. He's a fraud. You know, it's funny. Back, 15 years ago, I had somebody, some fucking green person, green, clueless, naive, and he emailed us. He's like, "Oh, you should talk to Max Kaiser. He criticizes Israel all the time." And I said, "Look, you don't get it. Number one, I don't care about Israel. I don't criticize Israel. I could give a rat's ass about Israel. What I care about are the people, the mafia in America that are fucking America. And Max Kaiser ain't going to talk about those people because he's one of them. In fact, Max Kaiser has and I have the recording. Max Kaiser has actually claimed that Wall Street is run by Catholics. I kid you not. Like Alex Jones, he claims the Federal Reserve is run by Saudis, and the Saudis run the stock markets, and the Chinese control our media, right? You all heard that. I played that clip, right? I mean, obviously, when you got people that are so desperate to hide the obvious truth, what's that tell you? It tells you two things. Should tell you two things. One thing is that if they have the nerve to come out with such ridiculous claims, it should tell you that their audience, their followers, are completely fucking stupid. They're that fucking stupid, or they'll believe anything these guys say. It should also tell you that they're so scared that people are going to find out, well, the obvious. I mean, I don't understand why these people are so scared for people to state the obvious facts. Who runs these industries? Why does it scare them so much that they're going to actually call you a racist for saying that? Why are they so scared? Maybe because once people think about it consciously of what they control, they'll say, wait a second. Oh shit, I see what's going on now. You understand? That's the deal, folks. That's the story. And of course, I didn't even mention it, but I wasn't thinking about it. But you go back to that, the speakers he's had in his conference. Ask yourself how many of those people there aren't related. Most of them are related, by the way. Most of them are. You got what? Peter Schiff, Jim Rogers, Jim Rickards, the Bitcoin book boy, DiMartino. Of course, she's going to tell you she's Italian, right? Like most of these guys. Oh, I'm Italian. No, you're not. No, you're not. Just like Kevin O'Leary, he's Irish, right? Well, it's an Irish name. I can look at the guy. Okay. I can listen to the guy. I can look at the guy's eyes. I can look at how shifty he is. I can see what a scammer he is, and I can tell you this guy ain't Irish. Okay?
It's a much safer place now. So all those things point to I have positive opinions about El Salvador. Now, would I pay $1 million to get a Salvadoran passport? No, I would not, because it's a free marketplace, and years ago I got a pretty similar quality passport in St. Lucia. It cost me $100,000. Now it would cost you about double that because the price has gone up. Requirements have gone up, but it's still 1/5 the price. Salvadoran citizens need a visa to go to the UK. Everyone needs an ETA coming up this year to go to the UK. Same as the US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, South Korea. All the big countries are going to the electronic travel authorization, but that's not really a visa per se. Salvadorians and Honduran citizens are the only ones in Central America that need a visa to go to the UK. Take that as perhaps a minor strike against the El Salvador passport. I'm not against El Salvador. I'm not against you living there. Now, I mentioned in that video why I won't live there, and that's why I wouldn't live in most Latin American countries. It's just not a part of the world that I'm focused on. But we do have a large part of our team there. We're putting a lot of effort in. We've got a growing clientele from that part of the world. We've got a lot of people who work with us who move down to that part of the world. So if you want to live in El Salvador, you can. But here's the deal. You don't need to spend $1 million to get a passport to live there. There are residence permits, which we covered in that video. You can get just by showing you have some money, a couple grand a month coming in, you can get a residence permit. So if you need a second passport, get one for 1/5 the price potentially, or get a better one for, about the same price, or, some combination thereof, and then go and live in El Salvador on a residence permit. And if you love it and you want to spend most of your time there, eventually you can naturalize as a citizen. I just don't think the $1 million program is a good deal. Doesn't mean I'm against El Salvador, but this is what happens when people who don't understand our message come in and start commenting and calling people names. They do not know of which they speak. Nothing against El Salvador. Just think the passport is overpriced. People have said, do you think they'll lower it? Like Turkey had $1 million real estate investment and then they lowered it to $250,000. I think that El Salvador is really trying to be this high-level brand. And
you hear? He's pissed off because people are exposing this guy as a fraud. He's actually making a video. He's making a video trying to explain himself out of a predicament where people are, probably... He was trashing El Salvador in some way, and he had people that got pissed off and said, wait a second, you're a fucking scammer, dude. You're a scam artist, right? That's what's going on here, obviously. Obviously, that's what's going on, okay? And let's go ahead and listen to this and see what else he has to say.
What kind of bothered me a little bit about a couple of the people chiming in was, we don't need you. I can afford to go and spend $1 million on El Salvador's passport. It wouldn't really change my life. But the idea that, telling someone like that, we don't need you. Yeah, nobody really needs anybody, quite frankly. But I think it's a bad attitude to have. Now, that's El Salvador. I'm a fan of what's happened. We're covering it at Nomad Capitalist Live.
So you hear that? You hear that? You notice that little, you probably wouldn't have noticed that. But he's trying to. He can go and spend $1 million for an El Salvador passport, and it wouldn't change his life. He's a wealthy guy. No, he's not. Any money he has, he's gotten through fraud, complete fraudster. And I can tell you right now, $1 million is going to change his fucking life. That's why he's running away for lawsuits that are much lower than that. That's why he ran out of the fucking U.S. Okay. This guy is a piece of fucking trash, and I really hope something bad happens to him. And let me just remind Mr. Henderson. Andrew, you should know this. When you're in some of these developing countries, there's really no rule of law. And, you might come across some former customer that you scammed, and there's plenty of them. You can go online and read the stories, how they're pissed off. Matter of fact, the one guy I showed you the website, Nomad Capitalist is a scam.com. This guy's so pissed off he made a website. The point is that at some point, maybe you're going to run into one of these guys. And guess what? A lot of things can happen in these countries and there ain't no fucking cops around. Or they can pay off the cops. That's how it works, folks, by the way. Okay, I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of lawlessness in these countries. And in many of these countries, you can pay the cops and get away with murder, literally. I'm not joking. I can go and tell you all kinds of stories. Okay? Stories upon stories. So, I don't know. I'd be a little careful if I were Andrew, because he's pissing off a lot of people who he's taken. And at some point, I have to believe somebody's going to get pissed off and maybe they'll come after him. So you might want to, I don't know, be a little careful, Andrew.
But in a free marketplace, I don't overpay 5x for things that don't add any additional value when I can get it some other way, right? Sometimes you get access to living in a country through a residence permit. Yes, that is less permanent. But if you look at certain countries, Panama, they're going to have residence permits probably until the end of time. They've always had numerous residence permit options. Malaysia, I think, is just a country that values people coming in. If you've got some money, come on in. That's how they view it. It would take something pretty substantial to change countries like those. Right? These are not countries like Europe where they elect some people who hate immigrants now. And
Panama? You want to live in Panama? Folks, let me tell you something right now. These countries he's talking about, I know people who have tried to live in Panama and they're like, fuck, I got to get the hell out of here. We're talking pure banana republic. Okay, you all understand the expression. Folks, I don't understand. My God, this guy is spruiking a lot of fucking shit zones. Okay? A lot of shit zones. Let me tell you right now. Once again, anybody that's going to pay a former pool cleaner, a guy that cleans swimming pools, because he flunked out of college, a guy that pretends he's a snooty upper crust aristocrat who flunked out of college, a broke dick motherfucker who extracted money from a bunch of fucking idiots on YouTube, right? They're going to pay this guy. They should go see a fucking shrink. This is a great example of the type of scam machine YouTube has become. This guy didn't have a fucking pot to piss in. None of these scammers until they got on YouTube. YouTube has become the ultimate fucking scam machine. And YouTube does nothing about it. They don't care. They don't give a shit. You can report a scam. They do nothing. All they care about is making sure their advertisers don't get upset. Right? You can't say anything about anybody that's negative unless they're white people. You can trash white people, that's fine. Okay? You can promote pedophilia. You can promote human sex trafficking. You can promote sexual gratification. You can spread all types of dangerous, harmful lies and myths that can harm people, such as, for instance, Dr. Berg's channel, right? His channel with his fucking disinformation, the chiropractor quack who calls himself a doctor. Anyone, folks, who's not an MD or an OD, okay, that calls themselves doctor, I'm telling you right now, they're a fraud. I've never seen a case otherwise. Okay, if they have a PhD, then they are a professor if they teach university. If they're not a professor teaching university, they're not a doctor, they're not a professor. Okay? And you might recall Chris Martenson calls himself Dr. Martenson. It's funny, Chris Martenson has never even fucking worked in pathology, ever. Ever. He never held a job as a pathologist. Of course, he's a fraud. We'll be going over him more in the future. That's it. Andrew Henderson is a complete and utter fraud, liar, scam artist. Folks, if you want a second passport, you can go to the Caribbean islands, St. Kitts, and there's like 3 or 4 others. Okay, you buy a house or something like that, a couple of $100,000, $300,000, you get a passport. The problem with that is you're going to have a property which you're not going to spend any time in because there's nothing to do there. There's nothing there. Okay, but you do have a passport. Other than that, there's no other second passports essentially. Okay. I don't know about this El Salvador thing. It's probably not a full passport. Who cares? Who wants this El Salvador? Fucking shit zone. What he's talking about are residencies and visas. Okay? He doesn't know how to get them. He calls people. He's a middleman, and he's taking a shitload of money. I'm telling you right now, folks, you're talking about any of these visas or long-term residency, you're talking about maximum $2,000 or $3,000 in terms of the costs to go through and apply and get the visas. Any other requirements, if you have to buy a property or this or that, that's separate. This guy is charging people $30, $40, $50, up to $100,000 because the people are fucking stupid and lazy. And that's what I'm saying. You stupid ass lazy people, you're fueling these fucking fraudsters. You stupid fucking idiot. Really. Goddamn idiot. I mean, you guys may as well start your own second passport fucking scam. Because he's proving that if you have a large reach, folks, it's a numbers game. You got it? It's a numbers game. I was going to be doing this release of Ty Lopez, his latest scam. Saw his video. I'll do that here in the future. But Ty Lopez is going through and bragging, I've generated $1 billion in revenues and this and that. And I'm like, yeah, it doesn't matter. Even if you're telling the truth, which you probably aren't, because you're a fucking compulsive liar, it doesn't matter because it's a numbers game, right? It's a numbers game. If you have the volume, you're going to do the revenues. If you keep pumping the money in, you understand. YouTube is the same thing. It's a numbers game. If you get the views, if you have the subscribers, you're going to convert people. No matter how much of a scammer you are, no matter how obvious it is, because it's a numbers game. And there's a lot of stupid, mentally ill people out there. You see? You may realize that they're a scammer, but think about it for a second. Look at Meet Kevin. Who the fuck is going to fall for this fraudster? This guy, complete fraud, right? Think about that. There's a lot of dumb people out there. And it's not just people from America. There's a lot of people that maybe are from another country that can't see that Kevin's a scammer because they don't realize it. Maybe they're from India. You understand? They don't understand the whole scammer technique in America because they're not living in America. You got people from all around the world, you see, and they're at a disadvantage because they're not used to the scammer persona, right? And even Americans, many of them can't even fucking spot it. I mean, think about it. You got people that don't even realize Robert Kiyosaki is an obvious scammer and fraud. I mean, come on. Really? Really? So it's a numbers game, folks. That's why I say these people, they build up their channel. Once they have the subscribers, they can sell shit on a stick and they'll make millions. Because it's a fucking numbers game, okay? All they got to do is convert 1%, 2%, and they're fucking bathing in money. You see? That's the problem. YouTube is a fucking disaster. It needs to be shut down permanently. It's a fucking crime factory. Take a look. Start looking at all these channels. They're all fraudsters. I mean, take a look. I mean, I'm going to show you right now, actually. I mean, what is this? Let me, I think I'm going to show you something here. You like my little pause picture? Jesus Christ. Give me a second. I'm going to show you something here, if I can find it. And just to give you an example of the misinformation going on ScamTube. I talked about it earlier, but let me see if I can find it. Because I want to show you guys as I'm thinking about it right now. It's a great example. I'm going to have to remember the video. Give me a second. I may not be able to find it, actually. You're going to have to give me a couple of minutes because I'm going to have to actually go through and find this through the comments. What I aim to show you, though, is a specific example. Oh, Jesus. Of someone telling me, well, telling everyone that Thailand's medical system is better than America's. And you can see what I wrote. While I'm looking, and by the way, let me just mention, I saw some of these Filipino vloggers, fucking losers, so them talk about how, oh yeah, I watch Peter Zehan for geopolitics, and I was like, Peter, never heard of this guy, and so I looked him up, and I listened to the guy, and I'm like, this guy's a fucking clown. And then I looked into it more, and it turns out he's got a lot of subscribers. And guess what? Of course, he was promoted by Joe Rogan. Anybody know this Peter Zehan guy? Anybody heard of this guy? Anybody? There's another guy, this Cyrus Jansen, another fucking clown. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Well, this guy, he worked for Stratfor, which is a Mossad-funded so-called intelligence consulting firm in Austin that has connections with Alex Jones, by the way. The guy's a fucking clown. But, of course, he's promoted by Joe Rogan, and, of course, he's related to Joe Rogan, so, he gets promoted. But people are just fucking stupid. This is the problem when you're being flooded by people, and you don't, if these people are not competent, you don't know any better because you haven't come across someone who's competent. This is the problem when you have control over the media. See, the media determines everything. The media determines your idea of comedy when they control who all the comedians are, your idea of investment prowess, right? They put all the experts on TV, the Peter Schiffs of the world and Harry Dents, you understand, so that you don't have an idea on truly what real research is, real analysis, and real results. This is the problem. This is why there's so many stupid people out there, because they don't really, they don't have a perspective. They have no fucking idea what's going on. Well, give me a second here. Just a few more seconds. If I can't find it, I'm not gonna waste any more time on it. But I encourage you to go through Joe Rogan's channel and see for yourself. And Lex Friedman, take a look at the people that are featured. And for Rogan's channel, just remove the trivial bullshit when they talk about fighting and stuff like that. And take a look and see what percentage of them are related. And you're going to see it's extremely high. Those are just two examples. You can take a look at the gold pumping channels, the crypto channel. You can just basically the deceit and fraud channels. Take a look and see, and you're going to see one big clusterfuck. Okay. I know this because I've been watching it, examining it for many years. Okay. Okay, well, I can't find it. So, oh well. But anyway, there's this myth out there. And, once again, folks, if you're going to live in a non-Western country, especially if you're going to retire, think about the most common ailments you're going to face as an elderly person. First of all, let's not forget, some of these countries, they don't have sidewalks, and or the sidewalks are broken. They're busted up. As you can imagine, these are developing countries. Okay? Now, you know what happens to older people? A lot of times they end up falling and breaking their hip. You've probably heard that. Right? Guess what happens? A lot of times when that happens, they don't leave the hospital breathing. They die in the hospital. It's a very high mortality rate for elderly people with broken hips. You can look it up. And the reason why is because of hospital-acquired infections. Hospital-acquired infections are responsible for a very large percentage of deaths in the hospital. It's actually from the infections that they get in the hospital. You can look at the statistics on that. It's going to vary, but you're going to see that will be, between medical errors and hospital induced infections. You're talking about anywhere from 1 to 3 in terms of the causes of death in America. I've seen different ones. It's probably going to be number 2, number 3, or number 4, or something like that. It's right there in terms of medical errors and hospital-acquired infections. And understand, of course, medical errors in hospital-acquired infections. It's not. It's not. There's a lot of. You can't detect them all, right? You're not going to detect all the medical errors that cause death. You're not going to detect all the hospital-acquired infections that cause death. But they're already very high on the list, causing deaths. Okay? So think about that for a second. You're in a country that doesn't have an adequate infrastructure. You have a higher chance of breaking your hip, sending you to the hospital, and possibly dying because of a hospital-acquired infection. Okay? Now, think about if you're older, maybe you have a chronic disease, right? COPD, asthma, something that may cause a problem. Or say you don't have anything, right? You can have a stroke. I mean, the older we get, the more certain something is bad is going to happen, right? You could have a stroke, heart attack, or let's say maybe you get struck on the road. You know, the number one cause of death for foreigners in Thailand is on the road. That's fact. Write it down. So my point is that you have certainly a lot of road accidents in these countries. People need emergency care, right? Ask yourself, are you going to make it to the hospital in time when they don't yield for ambulances? In fact, some of these countries, some places don't even have ambulance services. Okay? Some cities don't have ambulance service in some of these countries at all. So think about that. Do you hear about any of these things? No. You're never going to hear any of these realities from frauds like Henderson. Okay? He's uneducated. He's stupid. He's a con man and a fraud. And the problem is that people are hearing all this horse shit from the gold pumpers about how the U.S. is going to collapse. You know, the same guy's been saying the same shit for 15 fucking years. And they put everybody in gold 15 years ago. And gold is up 30% since 15 years ago. And the stock market is up how much? 300%? 400%? I don't know. You take a look. You understand. So they're hearing all this horse shit. Oh my God, America's terrible. England's, look at what's happened. It's just bad. Okay, great. But guess what? Go see how things are in fucking Burma, in Myanmar. Go see how things are in Cambodia. Go see how things are in El Salvador, in Brazil. You understand? You're not hearing these realities. And so you got people that are actually moving to some of these countries, even with families. Let me tell you something right now. I mean, you've got a whole different fucking problem if you're taking a family or you build a family in these countries. If you're older, you got to worry about the quality care. Okay? You want a triple bypass in a Thai hospital? Understand, folks. I mean, I don't think you guys know. Education is not emphasized in Thailand. The education system is very fucked up. It's very bad. Okay? It's very bad. Now, I'm talking about advanced procedures. You're talking state-of-the-art training, state-of-the-art equipment, right? So what are you going to do? You got an emergency, you're going to have to fly to Singapore. Well, if you get a heart issue, you can't fly, probably, most likely, in many cases anyway. Or Hong Kong, or Japan. You're going to have to go to one of these more westernized countries in the area. Can't do it if it's emergency. Forget it. You're done. You're done. Okay? You understand? People don't. They never bring this up. They never bring. What you hear is, oh no, the medical system's good. Why? Because I went there. I had a great experience there. Everyone was nice, and it was cheap. Okay. Or just remember, dead patients don't talk. In other words, you don't hear the stories from people who fucking died. You understand? I've been through the medical system in these countries. I've been to hospitals in these countries, and I'm telling you, yeah, when it comes to affordable, accessible, basic care, it's great. Sure. In America, I can't even see a fucking doctor. Oh, I'm sorry, we're not taking new patients. And I have to work within the network. I mean, who's going to take new patients? I got to see a fucking doctor. No one wants to see new patients, right? You have a problem with accessibility of basic care in America. There's a big problem. The healthcare system is completely fucked up. There's no doubt about it. It's run by Wall Street. It's a complete fucking scam. I wrote a book about it. Of course, I was banned. Now everyone's talking about healthcare. As always, I'm on the leading edge of everything, right? And nobody wants to talk to me. I don't get anything. Because you got a bunch of fucking criminals, a criminal mafia that controls the discourse. They want to control all sides of the discussion. They want to profit from everything, just like on Wall Street in the financial crisis. You had the Wall Street crooks who defrauded people. Not just Wall Street, of course. You had the whole real estate industry, but the engine was Wall Street, right? I exposed all that. I talked about the fraud, wrote about it. I got banned. Wall Street crooks made the money. The media comes out and tells you that it happened because they're drug addicts. They're greedy. And they did that because you can't prosecute anyone for fraud if it's because of drugs or greed. Because there was no intent. There's not an intent, you see. That's what the media did. You see that? And then the media guys made money after the collapse. How? Well, they wrote books, they made movies, and all the stupid fucking Main Street idiots lined up to buy those books and watch those movies like fucking idiots. They played your asses from the beginning, the middle, and the end. You stupid fucking idiots. They played your asses, okay? You stupid motherfuckers. Nobody came out and said, wait a second, I'm going to boycott these fucking books and movies. Why you want to make money? You want to profit off of my fucking misery. You got it? People don't think that way because people have become fucking stupid. And that's why these things are happening to them in their societies. You got it? They're not thinking straight. They're fucking stupid. Just about everybody on this earth, I would say 99.99% of the people are under mind control. And most of those 1%, most of those people that aren't under mind control, guess what? They live in remote fucking areas where there's not the internet. The internet has just about everybody under mind control. And you think that you're not, but I'll guarantee you are. You don't realize it. It's a different kind of mind control. Okay? They got everybody under mind control. There's one way to escape it, and that's to get the fuck off the internet. Folks, I'm just laying out the facts. And you know what? The facts are often painful. Okay? People don't want to hear these things. They don't want to admit it. They want to think that they're the exception. Those are the people who never combat the problem. You see, they're in denial. It's kind of like the story I like to tell about the librarian a long time ago who I met up with. I was a young in the industry. She was a cold calling prospect. Some librarian lady, and she had all of her money and investments in an S&P index fund. And she said, "Well, I don't know anything about investments. I just put it in this index fund." And I said, "Okay, yeah, that's fine." And that was it. I didn't try and convince her to change. You know why? Because for her, that's suitable. That's the best thing she can do. She doesn't know anything about investments, and she knows she doesn't. So she doesn't dabble in it. And she's actually very fucking wise, you see? Because she realized she didn't know anything, and she stayed away. It's the people who think that they know, and they think they can do it. Kind of like people who try to invest. They think they can outcompete the pros, right? Those are the dummies. Those are the fucking idiots out there who have no fucking chance in hell. And by the time they realize it, it's going to be too late. It's going to be 20, 30 years, and their time is gone, and their money is fucking gone. You see? This is what I'm talking about in terms of the internet. People not realizing. You say, "Well, no, I can combat it. No, I'm smarter." No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. Sorry. You're not. You're under mind control, and you don't even fucking realize it. Guaranteed. I'll guarantee you. That's the way all these things have been designed, folks. Okay? I have specifically, intentionally insulated myself from social media from day one. From day one. I warned about it, and I'm correct. It's been a complete fucking disaster. It's complete mind control. And it's made people fucking stupid. It's made the population stupid. People are not thinking. They're not asking the right questions. They're not challenging anything. It's all now about everything's a fucking cheerleading session. And it's not just the internet, right? There's also change in the pop culture where, you can't question anything. You're a Debbie Downer. Oh, I don't like negative people. Anybody that says, "Oh, I don't like negative people," they're usually a scammer. They usually got something to be concerned about because they don't want to be criticized. Okay? That's the reality. Or you see people, you say everything's a scam. Okay. Hey, genius. Save your faulty generalization fallacy for something else. You stupid fucking idiot. Somebody show me out there any scams and scammers I have identified where it's not true. That's how you address my argument. You don't come out and say, oh, you just call everybody a scammer. Yeah, you're showing you have no fucking brains. This is what I'm talking about, folks. This kind of stupidity that's out there. I don't know. Maybe I've got an advantage because I'm Greek. Boom! Not everybody can have the genes of a Greek person. What can I say? So there we have it, folks. Andrew Henderson. Let me get back to since I cannot find this, let me get back to Jesus. Here we go. Andrew Henderson. This guy, this fucking weasel. This guy's a total fraud. And, you guys got to spread the word. Okay? Somebody needs to make a clearinghouse website where people can post their story. They can post email exchanges. They can post audio recordings. They can post receipts. They can post evidence of being scammed by this guy. So a case can be built to take this guy to court. Okay? That's what needs to happen. This guy's got 1 million followers. He's duping a lot of people. Okay? He'll have 2 million before you know it. He's aligned himself with all the king con men out there. Doug Casey, Max Kaiser, Jim Rickards, you name it. You saw the list. Right? So he's patched himself into that whole network and their subscribers. Think about that. Right? Their subscribers. In other words, the dummies. Right? You see, this is what happens when you feature somebody like Robert Kiyosaki. Well, his cult members want to watch the interview. And they, I like this, and so they subscribe. You see, anybody remember the video that I did? Not video, it was a YouTube video I showed, actually, that explained all of this. The syndicate. Right? The syndicate. Where this guy explained, this fucking con man. Remember this? Anybody see this?
My
this
name's
is the Tony
Michelle
Robbins
Blood, and I've lived
con
in...
man. Folks, all these guys, I'm telling you, I warned people about this many years ago. Tony Robbins is the mentor, the unofficial mentor of all these con artists. I'm telling you, all of them. Andrew Henderson, Tim Ferriss, all of them. They got this whole, the whole scam artistry industry was created by Tony Robbins. It was put on the mainstream by Tony Robbins. I'm telling you. And I warned about this many years ago. This guy is Kern's, what's his name? Yeah, Frank Kern. Frank Kern is in the circle of Tony Robbins. These guys are all like internet marketing fucking scammers. Internet marketing, when you hear that term, think scam. It's always been a scam. Marketing is somewhat of a scam, depending. But internet marketing is absolutely 100% scam. Always has been.
In San Diego for a few years now. I've got a new book out with Bob Proctor.
This is how it works,
and
folks.
I've just done...
You listen to this. This is going to explain. And Bob Proctor is also kind of one of the grandfathers of the scam artistry industry. By the way, it's the rabbit hole goes fucking very deep when you're talking about these people. Okay. I want you to listen to this, and you'll understand what I'm talking about in terms of how these guys, they kind of share each other's sucker list. And the sucker list are their subscribers. You would think there's like, well, these are my subscribers. I'm afraid that they'll go to you and they won't buy my shit. No. They buy all the shit. Okay? Just listen to this.
Done our whole system that used to be an infomercial on TV as a download, and I'm looking to go viral with it now. And especially with my co-author Bob Proctor now doing so well from The Secret, etc. So how do I find like really good affiliate partners when you don't know anything about that yourself? And you've got a really good product to sell? We've sold about 800,000 actual physical products.
Right. So you're looking at this, the question, where do I get affiliates to promote my stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. It's easy. All right. You have to run your business like the mafia, but you shouldn't kill anybody unless they fuck with you. So here's the deal. I taught this in list control. Thank you to the people who have bought that, by the way. You've got a market All right? So whatever your market is like a community. You have competitors in that community. The thing to do is to go to those competitors and establish what I call a syndicate within your market. Syndicate is, I think, French for trade union, and that's why I made the mafia joke, because everyone thinks syndicate means mafia. It really means trade union, right? So you form a mastermind of peers. Identify the strongest people with the most reach that can help you, that are serving the same market. Then you hold a meeting for all of these people. Physically come, fly them to you. So when you're all together in the same room, you immediately form this bond and you form this camaraderie. And then you deliberately ask every person in your group what.
You notice this is, uploaded 14 years ago, okay? I don't know when it was recorded. This is 2000. Notice he said the term mastermind. Did you hear that? Mastermind. Folks, these are the kind of the underground peddlers. Okay, these are the underground peddlers of all the internet marketing horseshit out there. This guy, a bunch of guys out there that you don't really hear or see about anything about unless you go to these underground like conferences that a lot of these YouTube people go to. I can guarantee you. They know about it, okay? Like I never even heard of a sales funnel. I didn't know what that was until maybe a year ago. What the fuck's a sales funnel? I mean, apparently this is everybody has a sales funnel. It's all fucking scams, all fucking bullshit. A landing page. I mean, anybody that has a landing fucking page, it's a scam. Write it down. I mean,
their promotion schedule is like for the year, and then you each work together on how to promote each other for maximum effectiveness. Let's be fucking honest here. Have you ever noticed that all the people in the internet marketing world are promoting each other? We're not psychic. All the top people work together to serve the market better and to help each other's business. It's based on the principle there's no such thing as my customer, right? So if they're buying your stuff, they're also buying Mind Movie stuff. They're also buying Tony stuff. They're also, to a degree, probably buying T. Harv Eker's stuff. Maybe not James Ray as much anymore. I wasn't trying to hate, man. I'm just saying,
Did you hear that? You hear that, folks? That's exactly what I've been talking about. You take a look at the fucking circle jerk, okay? That's what I've been telling you guys, it's what these people are doing. They're all talking together underground, behind the scenes. Joe Rogan, Patrick Bet-David, Tom Bilyeu, all these guys, they're all fucking working how to promote each other. It's a big circle jerk. They're all fucking scammers, okay? And you see the same thing in the fake investment guru genre as well. They're all working together under the scene. They don't talk to each other. They don't say anything normally. Underground, they're all communicating. I'm telling you, this is why I say the CoffeeZilla, that fucking fraudster, he's involved with these guys, okay? I'm telling you, YouTube is a absolutely complete scam fucking portal. Absolutely. No doubt about it. And there's nobody of any fucking credibility on YouTube. They're all scammers and posers, fast-talking swindlers, con artists, and they're all working together to promote each other. That's how they're getting bigger channels and more exposure. You turn around, you see this guy. Oh, Tom Bilyeu. Oh, he's on this channel. Oh, he's on this channel. You understand? And it's just flooding the same circle of shit. Hear it again. Okay? Hear it again.
All the top people work together to serve the market better and to help each other's business. It's based on the principle there's no such thing as my customer, right? So if they're buying your stuff, they're also buying Mind Movie stuff. They're also buying Tony stuff. They're also, to a degree, probably buying T. Harv Eker's stuff. Maybe not James Ray as much anymore. I wasn't trying to hate, man. I'm just saying, it's a shame that whole thing happened. Whatever. It's a bummer. But you know what I mean? They're all buying each other's stuff. So you help them, as the Godfather would do, get what they want, and then you bring them all together, and then you all work together to get what you want. That's it.
Thanks.
You're welcome. promotion schedule is like for the year, and then you each work together on how to promote each other for maximum effectiveness. Let's be fucking honest here. Have you ever noticed that all the people in the internet marketing?
That's what I'm talking about, folks. That's what I'm talking about. Okay? This is exactly what's going on. Open your eyes and you'll see it. The same faces. It's not 100%. You're not going to see 100% of the same people on all the same channels. Okay? You're going to see the majority of the same people on the majority of the channels because there is some divergence. You know, not everybody is suitable for the content of each channel. And also, some of those people that aren't on the channels that you expected would be on there will be there later on. You see? They will be there later. Just go through Patrick Bet-David's channel. I mean, Brian Rose, same thing. I saw that a long time ago. Okay? Of course, his channel's gone now. I don't know what happened to it, but you can take a look at Patrick Bet-David's channel, right? And once again, you've got the aggregators, the guys that they interview everybody. They bring the con artists. They introduce the con artists, and then you have the guys that have their own channels that are self-promoting. So their channel is only them, but they go around and they pay to be on other channels. So Alex Hormozy is a great example. I mean, well, his real name is Horowitz. Alex Horowitz. Ask yourself why he changed his name, right? Why he's going by a fake name. What's wrong with Horowitz? Why would you not want people to know your name is Horowitz? Is there something wrong with the name Horowitz, Alex? Do you think someone might suspect that something, you know, if they know your name is Horowitz, Alex? Right? So he has all his stupid bullshit, fake it till you make it. Oh, I'm so great, and this is how you make a great company. This is how I made $100 billion, and, you know, complete horseshit, complete fraud, liar. And then he goes on to all the other guys. He pays to get on their channels, so on and so forth, right? I talked about Scam Stefan, how his little coffee hour, he's taken money. It's obvious he's taken money to promote scammers. Take a look at Graham Stefan's iced coffee hour or whatever the channel is. He's promoting pure scam artists on there, from Tim Sykes to, you know, this Ryan Pineda, you name it. You see, this is how it works. And, you know, Joe Rogan, he's promoting the guys as well, right? It's so obvious what's going on. And then you have kind of a hybrid where you have Tom Bilyeu. You know, he promotes a lot of people, but he also promotes himself on his own videos, right? So, I mean, it's a circle jerk. It's what I call it, a big fucking circle jerk. They're all scammers. They're all fucking scammers. Every single genre. You can't name, they're all scammers. There's no exceptions on YouTube. All of them. You say, well, how about this channel that it talks about history? No, sorry, you're wrong. Unless the channel is actually from a credible university showing lectures that were actually done in class, that's an exception, because that's real material that just happens to be reposted on YouTube. Okay, but when you have these channels, I can't think of the channel names now. They show you this, history things and things like that's all bullshit. It's not accurate. They're just slapping shit together, and they're sloppy. Why? Because they want the ads and they want the content to sell affiliate links. Okay, I'm telling you, I've seen it over and over again. This is what monetization has done. It's even perverted channels that were, could have been okay to provide good information. It's not there, and most people don't see it because they're not smart enough, they're not educated enough, they're not looking, so they're accepting everything, and they're not analyzing it. I mean, you got a society now, a generation now that thinks that Wikipedia is their encyclopedia, that thinks that they can buy courses created online by some fucking amateur who's not an expert in anything, and they're paying ungodly amounts of money, and they think they're getting educated. This is like I said, it's the problem of the people. The stupid fucking people out there. Okay? So what do you do? What do you do? You can't change it. The government's like it. Easier to control. Okay? That's it.